Hey, let's start the show.
It's October 4th, 2012. Welcome to This Is Only a Test, the official podcast of Tested.com. I'm Will Smith. Joining me today, Norman Chan. You have a pile of envelopes in front of you, sir.
Bigger pile than I ever would have expected.
How many envelopes are in there?
There are 55 envelopes here. I've gone through 8 of them, so 47 left.
It looks no. That's no. It would be 49 left.
I've gone through 8 of them.
How? Oh, 55. This is a terrible conversation. It looks like somebody's done a lot of squiggle drawing on that piece of paper under there. Like
yeah,
some real hardcore squiggles.
I'm saving that one for last. It's the big envelope.
It worries me that on a tech podcast that both of you got basic arithmetic wrong in the first 30 seconds.
No. 55 minus 8 is 47.
I thought he said 58 minus 7.
You should be listening.
This doesn't.
It's not
So to let people know what I'm doing right now,
confidence.
we have begun the great tested sticker exchange. If you mail an envelope, a self-addressed stamped envelope,
Stomped
envelope to our office, which the address of which you can find easily on the internet. I'm not going to repeat it here.
You're saying it's a quest.
Yes, you must begin
it's
the
like an
sticker
ARG.
quest.
It's fantastic.
Absolutely. And you include
This is
the
the world's
self-addressed stuff
shittiest
envelope,
ARG.
maybe a letter if you want. The letter's optional, and some stickers. I will then mail you some vintage tested stickers until
This
supplies
guy
last.
here didn't even get the address right. He misspelled the street and it still showed up.
It did.
Testament to our wonderful U.S. Postal
USPS,
Service.
Yeah.
Thanks, mailman.
The last
Gary
great
Whitta
institutions.
is here. How you doing,
Yeah,
Gary?
I'm good, thank you.
Speaking before introduced, but that's fine.
I do that every
Breaking
week.
podcast
It's just a thing now.
Do you do that on other people's shows too?
Well,
or just here?
sometimes before I'm introduced, you guys have, like just now, have really long, stupid conversations. I feel like I have to intervene.
You can't control yourself.
Yeah,
that
I
long.
can't just wait to be triggered.
Fair enough.
I'm learning so much about different stickers.
How many of these are you getting, like, per week, these envelopes?
That's a week's worth.
This is a
right?
week's
Oh,
worth.
it's like 55 a week.
At
pretty
least
good.
initially. It's not bad. The stickers, though, that people are sending are really interesting. A lot of Apple stickers, which
Yeah, because you get them with
yeah.
any Apple product you buy. It's like, yeah, who wants them?
Someone included like 20 stickers. You're only going to get 3 stickers max.
Have you
There-
got
there
any
is
really,
a cap of 3 stickers.
Have you got any stickers that you've been really pleased to
Yeah, any
receive?
vintage stuff?
some beer, some brewed, custom brews, and
You got any like stick-on mustaches you can stick on? Things?
that would be cool though. I like fuzzy
a
stickers.
stick-on
Fuzzy
mustache.
stickers would be great.
What about poofy
This
ones
one
with like
envelope
eyeballs?
at the bottom
googlies?
here looks like the guy put a lot of work into illustrating it.
Yeah, I want to get to that at the very end.
Okay, you're saving that for last.
Yes.
That's good. All right.
So we were in New York last week. Oh, first off, there's big news to announce.
Is there
Big news.
big news?
You know it's October.
I do know that can't be the news,
Do you
surely,
know-
because everyone already knows that.
Hey guys, it's October.
This past weekend was Oktoberfest in San Francisco. We missed it.
And you know what happens in October?
Oktoberfest,
Oktoberfest,
And what other things?
Halloween,
Halloween, yes. I think Columbus Day, or maybe that's in March.
Exploration Day,
What's Exploration Day?
the proposed replacement for Columbus Day.
What, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Exploration Day, as opposed to Indigenous Peoples Day.
Or
Columbus
Italian American Day, as Vinny would call it.
Exploration.
I like
Day.
Exploration
There's
Day.
a petition
Political
right now.
correctness gone mad.
I applaud having a day to celebrate exploration, though. Some of the best people in the world are explorers. Norm, you have a knife right there. Use the knife.
The knife is actually louder than my
I
finger.
don't. You should have gotten a sharper knife. Do you know what else happens in October?
I know.
What happens in October, Gary?
Oktoberkast.
No, you gotta
a
say.
K.
You gotta use the right
Oh,
enthusiasm. It's all
fuck!
caps.
I can't even say that right now.
Oktoberkast.
Oh, I have to Oktoberkast.
No, we can't do that for 24 hours.
No.
If you don't know, that is an awesome beard sticker. I knew there'd be facial
Wait, what
hair
is that?
stickers.
Show me that. Oh, that is cool. Okay, that's a good one.
Hey, I'm on Team Beard. Are you guys? You were on Team Beard for a while.
Very, very short period. It was from Movember last year.
Oh, did you
Or the
do
year before.
a Move member? Is it Mo member? or- I thought it
Movember.
was supposed to be mustaches.
I don't know how you pronounce it. I can't get anything right today, apparently. But no, I did for a short period have
Wow.
a beard.
That is
wasn't good for me.
intense.
Oh yeah,
It's not really a sticker, though, is it?
still good stuff.
Okay, we got some stickers going there. That's good. Oktoberkast is our 24-hour marathon podcast to celebrate and support Child's Play. We will be podcasting for 24 hours. Gary, you'll be there?
Yeah, we had a wonderful. Wonderful might be stretching it, but
It was a wonderful 10 hours.
I think other people had a wonderful time watching it.
it was a very good and successful event. Last year we raised what $50,000 for Child's Play.
$53,000, I think.
It was
Yeah.
amazing.
So we're going to be doing that again on October.
Here, this is the big
This is
announcement.
the big announcement. They announce the actual date.
Oh, should
people
I?
Can,
You
Some
think I
put
should?
it in
Should
there.
we
No,
wait?
we have to commit.
people can put it in their date.
We've already
books.
scheduled guests, so we've committed.
Yeah, we have.
huge
I don't
mistake.
think we can change it. at
No,
this point,
it's
can
too
we?
late to change it.
Beard Dude, the guy who sent all the awesome beard stickers, did not include a self-addressed
Oh
stamped
no!
envelope.
So if you're a beard dude, you better write in and tell Norm what's going on.
yeah. Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
doesn't he have a return address on the envelope?
He does, but we don't have any envelopes or stamps.
Oh, so you
The idea is to make it as easy for me as possible to send you stickers.
Oh, but those stickers are so awesome. I feel like for this
I'm
one
gonna
guy,
keep
you
his-
should
I'm
make an
gonna keep
effort.
his envelope.
All
just
right,
in
you
case.
decide how charitable you want to be.
October the 26th.
Wait a minute, that sounds awfully familiar.
October
Yeah, it happens every year.
26th. It's 5 days before Halloween.
Yes,
It's
it does.
Windows 8 Day.
The day that Windows 8
Oh,
is going to be released.
which is great because last year it was the iPhone 4S.
Yeah.
and now we have another big
And
tech
they
launch
say we play
for Windows
favorites.
8.
Yeah, look
right.
at us being all egalitarian.
Very
and stuff.
egalitarian.
So the format for the podcast is simple. We get a whole bunch of really interesting people, much better people than us.
We had a bunch of great people last year.
They come in and then they talk about like teleporting poop straight from your rectum into
Yeah,
the,
whatever.
Right,
Just whatever
No
we wanna
topics off
talk about.
bounds.
It was remarkably undisciplined and unplanned last year. Like we didn't really have much of a plan for anything. People just showed up.
No, we had an hour by hour plan.
I think the Mad Libs was like as scheduled as
I
anything
still
really
have
became.
those.
I have a Star
will
Wars
bring
Mad
them
Libs.
back.
Everybody
we
give
should
me
do,
Mad Libs.
we should
for
do Star
Christmas.
Wars Mad Libs this year, maybe.
So we'll get in different guests. They'll come for varying lengths of time. Some will
Now,
be here for a little bit. Some will be here for a long time.
But the window is different this year, right? Last year we did what, 6 a.m. or
Noon
9
to
a.m.?
noon.
Last year we did noon to noon. What are we doing this year?
This year we're doing 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's Friday.
No, that would
No,
only
no,
be
no,
12
that would-
hours.
Sorry, 6 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Right. Now, why is that? Why have we changed
Because
that?
you guys are dumb and don't remember how tired we were at noon last year.
Yeah, why aren't we
Because
doing noon to noon?
We
again?
had an extended conversation. We decided we wanted to include people who work on Friday because last year a lot of people were still working when we started the show.
Right.
And nobody, I mean, I wouldn't expect any sane person to
I'm
take
starting
a day
to
off work for
realize
this.
now that this is a bad idea.
It's too late. We're committed.
Because
Yeah.
at least when it was noon to noon, you get good night's sleep, wake up, have
had a
breakfast,
whole
and then
plan.
start this thing. But now,
And also, yeah,
what
good
are we going to do? Are we going to sleep during the afternoon so that we can be fresh at 6
technically,
p.m.?
These
or
are
what?
all things that I brought up during the
my
discussion
goodness.
thread.
Yeah, this is very ill-conceived.
Captain Bad Idea over here
Yeah.
was
Well, I
all,
thought noon to
we
noon.
should do
This
6
is
to
on
6.
you.
No, noon to noon.
6 to 6 is
Oh
what
no,
we
see?
decided.
Noon to noon. I'm happy with noon to noon.
It's too late. I already have guests.
Okay, yeah, you have guests.
So I'm going to have to alter my sleep
handshakes
schedule.
are-
I'm going
are
to
guests.
have to do a daytime nap
Yeah.
to ensure that I'm ready to go. 'Cause
would-
otherwise, we're going to be up for like 36 hours.
So the plan this year is to get everything set up on Thursday, make sure everything works,
Okay,
not come into work on Friday morning.
right.
We'll have the Windows because we already have Windows. We've been testing it for ages now. There's no surprises there. We can do all the stuff we need for that in advance.
What, Bill Gates going to be on the podcast?
Yeah, we're getting Bill Gates. I didn't want to tell you guys. We're not getting Bill Gates.
So are we going to do some kind
if
of
you're
window-
listening, Bill, you're welcome.
Is
Give
it
me a
going to
call.
be? Is it going to be a Windows 8 segment?
Do you want to do a Windows 8 segment?
Not really.
Okay, then no, there won't be a Windows 8 segment.
We could do a Windows 8 launch party.
We could have a launch party.
Remember, like that awesome video
I
that
bet we
Microsoft
should.
did?
we could probably get somebody
Balloons
from
and
Microsoft
everything.
in to come in and have a Windows 8 launch party
I
with
bet.
us.
Yeah, I bet you we could.
They would take
We know-
advantage of that
We
in
know.
a heartbeat.
We know plenty of people who work at Microsoft.
Mostly in the fun side, though.
Yeah, not on the Windows side.
Yeah.
but still.
Okay, so October 26th,
Yeah.
6 p.m. Pacific.
Right. Yes.
That is like roughly 3 o'clock on Tuesday, GMT, and October the 40th in Australia. I don't know. My dates might be wrong there. 6 p.m. Pacific time. Whether
Yes.
it's daylight or standard, I don't
Yes,
know.
Pacific time.
Whatever, that's when we're starting, 6 p.m. We're going to go live. We should be able to do video, audio, and there'll be archived versions of stuff on the site later for
Right,
people who can't
right.
tune in live.
So last year had very many memorable moments, and I think overall was a big success.
Yeah.
How are you planning for this follow up, this sequel, to be bigger and better than last year? What have you got up your sleeve?
Last year we had 1 camera. This year, at least 2 cameras.
Multiple camera
That's impressive.
angles.
Multiple
Holy
cameras.
shit! It's going to be like having
Whoa.
a DVD
Joey,
in
I'm Joey right now.
I can
1997.
officially confirm. It's breaking. 3 cameras.
3 cameras. 3
Wow.
cameras.
With someone actually operating them?
Joey has committed to being here not just for 24 hours. He's also going to do something for the kids. 1,000 push-ups. Joey
Not
from
all at
Ellie.
once.
No.
No. He thought about
over the course of 24 hours?
Yeah.
for about 5 minutes before we did the math. Joey thought about doing 1,000 push-ups in a row.
Could even the fittest person in the world do 1,000
We're going to
push-ups?
find out on October 26th, starting at 6 p.m.
But 1,000 over 24 hours is still impressive.
43 an hour,
That is
roughly.
a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot more push-ups than I've done in my life
Yeah,
to date.
definitely.
I think we'll let him do knee push-ups after in the second 12 hours.
All right. Joey doing push-ups
We need
is,
to have
is great, but it can't
Yeah.
be the flagship. What else do we have?
I'm going to be here. Will Smith.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
That's pretty much it so far. I think Patrick Norton is committed to bringing donuts in the wee
what
hours
guests
again.
from last year are coming back?
So far, I've confirmed several guests from last year.
Are you able to discuss
I think
any
we
of
want
them?
to. I think we want to hold a little bit back.
Okay.
You know,
I think no one is
Suffice
really-
it to say,
really
many
committed
many of
just
your
yet.
many of your favorites will be returned.
we have both new and returning guests.
Yeah.
We saw some people at PAX. Some people you've been working with.
Oh, that's right.
I think are going to be.
So but
visiting
let's
us.
keep our
Some-
powder
some
dry. And
internet
we'll
friends.
roll these out
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
in a subsequent episode.
Yeah, we got
But it's only like 3 weeks away.
3 weeks away.
Crazy.
Terrifying.
And the room that we are podcasting in right now will be transformed.
into
Transformed
a podcast studio.
into a real office.
It'll be a real set.
Yes.
We're going to paint and put shelves up and stuff.
I'm excited.
It
Me
will
too.
be memorable.
Do you think we'll be able to beat last year's total?
I hope so. I think we've got now that we have something to show people and say, hey, would you like to come be on our silly charity podcast?
Yeah.
They seem to be more willing to participate.
Yeah, it's more of a known quantity
yeah.
now.
And the fact that we raised $50,000 last year helps people get
Yeah,
excited.
as long as
about
we
it.
don't show them any clips or like tell them anything about what it was actually like.
Yeah, as long
I
as they
think
don't
people
hear,
will be keen
Just give
to
them
come along.
numbers.
the Veronica
See?
Belmont pajama party, the horrible things that
Yeah,
you
all
and
that
Patrick
sounds
Norton
great
and I
on
talked
paper.
about.
Not in practice, though.
No, it was
What-
a real train wreck.
What did we do last year for food? I don't remember eating last
We
year.
didn't eat.
We
If
did-
you
we-
recall,
we barely ate.
a bunch of drunks rolled in at like
this
midnight
year,
and brought
however,
Super Duper.
this is one thing I will be ensuring that there will be plenty of snacks.
It'll be like a camp out
well, so we have
for a phone.
Yeah,
a couple people have. Are you going to bring snacks like you brought for the iPhone camp out?
I will bring.
That was great. I loved those.
Yes, I will bring. Well, it's going to be more than just that. Like, all I have is some Werther's originals. We'll have.
Yeah,
there will
that-
be.
You said you were bringing food.
I'm
You
gonna
showed
have
up
Ritz,
with Werther's,
I'm gonna have
sugar free.
Ritz
mind you.
crackers.
We can't eat crackers on air.
Gary, I
I'm
haven't
going to
had
have.
Werther's in a while.
I'm going to have triple double Oreos. The best. The Cadillac of Oreos.
These are all foods we got to have soft, non-chewy stuff.
Just step away from the mic. Well, what kind of chewy? What kind of things do you want?
Yogurt, mostly.
I can't just eat yogurt for 24 hours.
It's nature's miracle
You
food.
spend most of the time in the toilet.
Yogurt and honey. Activia.
Yeah, the new normal.
Jamie Lee.
live on podcast.
Jamie Lee. So that's the.
So
big
I'm
news
excited.
this
Okay,
week.
it's gonna be good. And in the coming weeks, we'll start to roll out more information about how.
Pencil it in.
Who's gonna be
I'm gonna
there.
ask a bunch of people on Friday. Like I'm gonna send out emails.
Yeah, I'm gonna see who I can continue to rope into this thing as well.
I have a Google Doc shared, so
Okay,
I'll share
good.
that with you, and we
Good.
don't accidentally double.
Yeah, we
book.
don't double book anyone. Yeah, I think it's going to be good. So now people know to mark out that on
Don't-
their calendar.
If it's your birthday, if it's your 50th birthday, 40th birthday, 12th birthday, you should stay home.
It'll be a special birthday.
Whatever is going on,
a
maybe
great
maybe
birthday present.
you've been scheduled for like major hip replacement surgery. You've
Yeah,
been waiting for
cancel
3 years.
that.
Put it off.
Yeah. If liver transplant comes in that day, there'll be another one soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So Octobercast, October 27th, 6th to 27th,
27th.
6 p.m. to 6 p.m. 24 hours of nonsense.
I got to say, and I don't know yet if this is really going to hold up, but I feel much because you remember what it was like at around 4 a.m. when
Yeah.
it was no longer fun.
I don't want.
Norm
to
was
remember.
asleep.
It
Norm
was
was
like-
just sitting there with his eyes open.
It was grim. I was really in and out on a few. If you go back and listen to some of those 4 to 6 a.m.
you would just sit
was
up with a
barely-
bonbon.
barely awake.
Didn't apply at all to what we were
Someone
talking
was
about.
talking
I
about
got very,
Computer Currents
yeah.
magazine. And
I got very, very punchy
Yeah.
at one period, and then I got super sleepy. But I'm
Yeah.
feeling like, having gone through the whole thing with the baby, and you just learn to function on much less sleep. That I feel like my body is ready.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think you're looking better than you've ever. You're fitter. You're stronger.
which is amazing because I feel much worse than I've ever felt.
Well, it's just because you haven't slept in for 6 months.
Yeah, the complete lack of sleep will do that.
Are
But
you-
but it has totally got me, physically prepared for this. I feel like I've been training for a marathon, which in a way I have.
Kind of, yeah.
A bullshit marathon.
So yeah, we're gonna talk for 24 hours
Brilliant.
again.
Yeah. I can't wait. I'm very excited.
Someone's gonna be flabbergasted. And
Yep.
it'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other exciting news: the UCS B-wing.
Yes, so just today this
Oh,
happened.
whoa,
I'm very
beautiful.
excited about
What is this?
Just to
behind
be
me?
clear, we're not getting sponsorship dollars from Lego. We have not. This is not product placement. This is just sheer joy.
No, it's just something we're happy about.
I didn't even know this was coming out. It seemed like yesterday that we saw the YouTube video of the teaser for this.
the leaked one.
And it seemed like just last week that we were speculating, will they ever come out with a UCS B-Wing?
Well, it had been rumored for a long, long time and I was very excited about it and hopeful because the B-Wing is my favorite ship in
it's
the
the
Star
best.
Wars universe.
The
It's
wings
by far
pop
the
out.
best.
The S-foils are awesome.
whoa.
amazing.
It might be your favorite, but it's not the best ship.
Yes,
Millennium
it is.
Falcon's the best ship.
Millennium
It is my
Falcon's
it
the
is my
best
favorite
ship.
because it's the best.
It can take down assault frigates.
And there
according
was an earlier version of a B-Wing, a much simpler one that's now out of production. But what we've been excited for is this big mega one, nearly 1,500 pieces, and it was finally announced, and it just came out yesterday.
Yes,
So-
October 2nd, yesterday. And
or the day before yesterday. So
Right.
I dashed to the Lego store, my first opportunity, and I tweeted a picture of it in the Lego store because I was so excited.
they have a display.
Yeah,
It's
they
pre-built.
had it built. It looks amazing built. And
It's not minifig scale, right? It's
no,
bigger
well,
than
you can
minifig
see
scale.
the actual dimensions are on there. It's 38 centimeters by 66 centimeters. So it is
that
pretty.
clears things up.
It is fairly large. Well, 15 by 28.
About
inches.
1,500 pieces.
It's big. And I tweeted a picture, and Will texted me saying, "Oh my god!" I said, "Well, do you want me to get you one? I'm here at the Lego store."
I wasn't
Next
gonna
thing you
ask, but
I'm
when you
buying-
offered.
I'm buying them for you and for Norm.
Yeah, this is sad.
It's a good thing
Sad.
Leah was with me because it was the limit of 2 per customer. And it's only because Leah was with me that I was able to get 3.
Norm would have
But
been
it's
really
double
screwed.
VIP points all month at Lego
Oh my
right now.
God.
So I was able to jack up my VIP points.
That's like extra $10.
And
in
Norm, don't worry.
points.
It's just pay me whenever you can. Don't worry about it.
I think you should.
Will
hold,
pays immediately on delivery. Norm's like, "Oh, I'll get you later."
I think you should just hold on to his.
I seriously considered saying like, "Well, I'll just take this with me then."
You can
and
come pick it up.
when you have the money. You'll,
Well, it's good.
Right.
Good.
Juice
excuse
is running,
to-
Norm.
To see the
no-
babies.
nothing's for free in this world.
The juice is running.
I'll never convince Norm that he should take responsibility and care for his life.
No.
He's the
No.
47%.
Well, it's 20-year-olds.
Thinks the
you
world
know?
owes him a living.
They just sit there and they're like, "Well, where should I go next? I don't know. Somebody will figure it out for me."
Well, maybe this is my opportunity to teach him a
Now,
lesson.
I'm not sure what's going on here. This guy included
That's a
one.
Think Geek sticker.
No, okay, Think Geek sticker. the
Yeah,
Think
and that's
Geek
something else
monkey.
you get when you order anything from ThinkGeek.
Exactly. But he included 2 envelopes with the same address, different stamps. Does that mean he wants a sticker in each envelope to himself?
Maybe he does.
That's not understand that I can put multiple stickers in one envelope.
I don't want to alarm you guys, but I think that listeners to the audio version of the podcast are going to be very disappointed by these sticker segues here.
It's just, what aren't they disappointed by every week?
That's
At least
true.
it's something different.
I think I'm only going to use one of these.
So you saw this built in person. So the guy at the store said
Looks
it's
really-
a little bit
Looks
rickety.
really good. And he did warn me. He said some of the pieces are very fragile.
Was
So he
it
says,
the
"Ma-
Lego Whisperer guy?
No, there's a new Lego Whisperer.
What?
There's
The-
a new
the
guy.
other guy was-
Explain.
There's a new guy who's very friendly. And so there's a new series of minifigs out. And you want to get all the minifigs, but you don't know what's in each bag.
Yeah.
So oftentimes,
it's a blind bag.
oftentimes you'll end up with dupes.
Right, it's a
But
little
there's
bag
a guy
of
at our
touch.
local Lego store who, by touch, he can feel the
by
bag
haptics.
and like kind of Karnak what is in there. And he says this one is DJ. This
saw-
one is Shakespeare Man.
Hold on.
And so we were able
Oh
to
no,
get
you don't want that one.
we were able to get 5 of the figures that we didn't have yet that we really wanted.
I saw a guy doing the same thing. So we went to the Lego store in New York at Rockefeller Plaza.
Oh, is that a big one?
It was like 2 floors, but it was about the same size. It was bigger than the mall one, but not.
It
Wasn't like
Rockefeller
Nintendo
Plaza.
World. Yeah, it was where it was at 30 Rock.
It's where
Right.
Liz Lemon shops.
Yeah.
Of course, where Liz Lemon and Tracy Jordan buy all their Lego.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There was a guy doing the same thing. He was fondling the bag.
Yeah,
and I didn't know what
apparently,
he
I
was
mean,
doing.
I can only imagine it's actually a Lego approved practice because it seems to be quite widespread.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah,
though.
you were able to avoid dupes, and there was 5 or 6. There's a whole new series of minifigures out, some really cool ones.
I guess that's a benefit of shopping in the store versus just going to Amazon buying a whole shitload of bags.
So we actually went mad today and bought. Not only did we buy the 3 B wings, we also bought the new haunted house, which is very cool.
Ooh, in the
new-
Monster Hunters series.
Yeah, in the Monster Fighters, very good.
Leah likes those.
Yeah, really good set.
Now, when are we getting together and building these things?
I mean, I haven't built
backlog.
anything since the baby was born because I mean, who has time? But I just picked up. I might build something little. We picked up the Jabba's skiff,
Oh, the little tiny one?
the Sarlacc pit. So I might build that one just to get back in the swing of things. I'm very excited. I mean, this I think is going to have to be prioritized. This is going to get bumped right to the top of the queue because I've got to build that. Look at that beauty.
You know what I bought that I've really enjoyed is I bought a bunch of those little tiny scale, like the $10 kits with the planet and the pieces inside the planet.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
I think those are great. They're
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah.
They're not particularly expensive, but they're like maybe 20, 30 minutes to put together.
Yeah.
And they're quite clever. They capture the
and
essence.
Lego has a new range of like little $15 sets that are really nice. There's a little Halloween set with zombies and a graveyard, and there's a little rock band set, and there's a little rock band playing on a
cool.
stage. You know, just little things.
Good Lego stuff.
You can always, like, even if you're broke, you know, you can always. They've got little things that you can just give yourself a little hug with a little mini Lego set. Not everything has to be like the top end, you know, crazy B-wing stuff. I mean, that is
But
there.
it's so much better.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Have you built your R2D2 yet? You haven't.
No,
have you?
I haven't built. Like I said, I haven't built anything.
Oh, it's so sad.
I've got a huge pile of Lego at home waiting to be built.
Wow.
I haven't built the Death Star. I haven't built the Super Star Destroyer. I haven't built the R2. Haven't built the Republic blockade.
Remember-
You're a Lego hoarder.
Remember?
Yeah,
Remember-
I mean, it's turning out that way.
I remember when you bought that Death Star and Leah was like, "Oh, after the baby's born, I'll have lots of time. I'll totally do it then." Is that funny to you now?
Well,
or
now
not so
now
much?
she's saying that she's going to build the haunted house.
Oh my god!
Those are cool. Little Lego. Just as we're talking about Lego Star Wars,
Huh.
a bunch of Lego Star Wars
How
stickers.
apropos. So Lego stuff. I don't know if we have time to do. I don't know if we'll do a build party.
I think maybe as part of Oktoberkast, there should
No,
be
no,
some
no.
kind of Lego segment.
That's
don't you
really
think?
loud.
It's boring. Nobody would want to watch somebody build Lego for 20 hours.
And yet, look how successful your previous series
No
was.
one would want to. You know, those have found new life on YouTube.
Yeah.
Those videos. When
Very
you go and look at the
popular,
comments
very
for
popular
'em,
series.
they're really dumb because people are like, "Why would anybody watch two assholes build Lego for 25 hours?" And then the next thing you know, they've watched 10 videos.
Because it's fucking great content.
I don't know about great content, but it's content for sure. Hey, so Curiosity is on Mars, the rover.
Yeah. Something new happened because that was
It's
a
one
while
of
ago.
it's one of the it's one of the Kuso. There's a design for it in the Kuso voting right now.
Oh yeah, I would vote the shit out of that.
You should vote the shit out of that.
And there's a there's a Hot Wheels toy version of it as well that I've got to seek out.
Oh,
as
yes,
well.
yes, that's good. My favorite still is the Kuso one. The submarine.
The submarine that you have
Japanese
is awesome.
submarine is my
That
favorite
submarine
piece.
is tremendous. It's a really great build. The little vents, the steam vents, are just fantastic. So clever how Lego, Matt does that stuff in bricks. It's really great.
So
I was really disappointed to see that World of Warcraft has licensed itself out, but not to Lego,
Connects.
but to the vile Mega Blocks.
Oh.
Fuck that shit. What the fuck is Mega
It's
Blocks?
the same thing, you know.
It's rubbish. It's not as good as Lego.
The holes
Go
are just
Lego
not
or
filled.
nothing.
Good to know, Gary.
Just disappointed that some of my
Your
favorite
brand.
franchises.
It's nice to know that
are
your
not
brand
in Lego.
loyalty.
Are you playing Pandaria?
I have it. I haven't had time to play it. You're gonna notice a theme emerging here, Norm, along the lines of me not having time to do anything other than take care of the baby and sleep whenever possible. What is that?
How much are you sleeping now?
There
Would
you
you
go.
say?
That's a good one. That's a good one. How much am I sleeping?
Yeah.
We're sleeping more. She's sleeping more through the night now, so that's good.
So like 600.
Not so much the last couple of
hours?
nights where we had that little mini heat wave, but
Yeah.
but otherwise fine.
Okay. So Curiosity is on Mars. They found a riverbed. Like very clearly, took pictures up close. You could see the flat wear patterns on the rocks.
So it couldn't
that
be anything
are-
else other than running water was there.
I'm
many
not
years ago.
qualified to say that, but what the experts have said is that it is indicative of flowing water on the surface of Mars,
Wow.
which is a new. I mean, we found
kinda
hints of
expected.
water before, but flowing water, I think, is the new part here. I think that the fact that there's been enough water, like they always kind of thought like there was water under the surface, deep in the soil, but flowing water is a new thing, a new find.
I think the next level of rover is going to have to be the ability to really kind of like dig and excavate and find fossils and things. See if they can find any
Transform.
prehistoric creatures that used to live there.
I think the next level rover should be one that builds
Prehistoric
a
creatures.
habitation for us to put human beings.
You mean like
in.
a 3D printer? A CNC 3D printer?
Oh, I'd love a 3D printer on Mars
Or maybe just on the moon. I mean, that's the best way to build a moon base.
to dig
to
holes.
3D print it.
Yeah, 3D print a base using materials found on the moon.
Yeah, because the idea is that they can use the Martian or the lunar regolith to make blocks when combined with epoxy and stuff. like concrete essentially, but not with water.
I think, when like the most impressive stuff we can make with these 3D printers is basically like fucking pencil toppers. Like
You have not
like a
seen-
base on Mars is maybe a bit optimistic.
So we'll talk about 3D printers in a little bit
Okay.
when we talk about Maker Faire.
I mean, I think it's a great technology, but it's still somewhat in its infancy for us to be talking about fucking printing bases on the surface of another planet.
We have dramatically advanced in the last like 2 weeks. Shit has changed. New shit has come to light.
Am I
Gary
not
Whitta.
privy to all the new shit?
You are not privy to all the
Okay.
new shit.
All right, come on, let's keep going. What else is going on?
Microsoft Surface phone. Did you hear the rumors about this?
Wait, what?
Oh, wait. You didn't hear?
Well, I know about Microsoft Surface. When you added phone, I was like, what?
So the rumor was that Microsoft, in a stunning vote of no confidence for their Windows Phone 8 partners, were building their own phone.
Not unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed rumor. Now, sources have told The Verge and a couple of other places that Microsoft is maybe considering building their own phone, but they are not planning to release anything this year. So what is
This
this?
is not surprising.
This is how you do it. Amazon and Apple and now Microsoft, hopefully with the Surface, are demonstrating that if you want to create a really good confluence of hardware and software, you got to do it all yourself.
Soup to
And you,
nuts.
you
And when
contract it
they-
out to just whoever wants to license it. You're never going to get a good product.
Well, the interesting thing with Microsoft is that they have this big partnership with Nokia. The Nokia, which is not branded their phones, Microsoft phones. They're Lumia phones. Just like Google owns Motorola, and
Right.
those Motorola phones are not Nexi. They're not Nexus phones. They're still Motorola
Atrix
droids,
8591,
Atrixes,
right.
and Razors.
right.
Even though clearly it doesn't make sense. I mean, there's no reason to play. No reason not to play favorites. They own the company.
Yeah.
Well,
I
the
agree.
reason not to play favorites is that then Samsung. But the question is where are those other people going to go?
Yeah, exactly.
They're boned. If you built your brand on somebody else's IP, then you're stuck with that company. I think that the fact that there are rumors about a Surface phone coming out, oh, that's not good.
Oh, I'm going to like this.
Are real bad for do not indicate. Like if I thought that there was a Microsoft version of a Windows phone coming out, I would really hesitate before buying a Windows phone
Why?
this holiday.
I mean, it's not like there's skins on the other on the Windows phones. Like Nokia and Microsoft, you can expect a Lumia going forward to at least get some updates.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying you won't get updates, but don't you think, Mike, if you had a choice between buying a Microsoft phone,
You would
and
be
a
annoyed
Nokia-
if
Not
you
if-
bought
not if
whatever's out
Nokia
there
was-
like 2 weeks before they announced the new true flagship device.
But
Yeah.
what does that
On a
mean?
2-year
What does
contract.
flagship mean? On Android, flagship means
No bullshit.
no bullshit, and you get all the updates.
Well,
with
no,
all
the
the
thing
first
is on,
generation Windows Phone
to
7
be fair, on
phones, you
Android,
didn't get the updates.
if you ask an
One at a
Android,
time, kids.
if you ask someone who's really into Android, what is the flagship phone, you might get 2 or 3 different answers. There is no one. There's no consensus on what the flagship. There's certainly
Well, the consensus
There's
of
an
the-
elite tier of contenders like the Galaxy S3, like the One X, and obviously the Galaxy Nexus. But it's a matter of preference. What would be considered the flagship? There's no. I don't think there's any.
I would
clear
say that the
consensus.
Google
just
devices are
because-
clearly the flagship.
Just because the Galaxy Nexus
I get, but I think many Android users
is-
would disagree with that.
Nexi branded and it's a Google phone, it's still made by Samsung, and the Galaxy S3 is arguably better than the Galaxy Nexus in terms of
Well,
battery
because of
life.
the- of
And it
the-
came out later.
It depends. It depends on what you care. If you care about just the stripped down
I guess that's
OS
fair.
with no nonsense on top of it, that is obviously
Yeah.
the flagship. If you want the phone that has the most bells and whistles, presumably that's the Galaxy 3, right?
And Microsoft doesn't own Nokia. Nokia has its partnerships to put its cameras on its devices on the 920. And so even if Microsoft puts out a Surface phone that's slim, sleek, and has the same design aesthetic as the Surface tablet, people might like the Lumia better.
Now, I don't know which one it was, if it was the 900 or the 920, because I'm not sure what's actually available right now. But I
900 is
saw.
available right
Okay,
now.
so I saw the 900 in an AT&T store the other day, the bigger version of the 800. Basically, it doesn't look as good in that bigger. I think it worked better as a smaller phone.
Well, but that's what we said when we tested it last year.
There's a weird kind of like Fisher Price vibe that starts to creep in when you make a phone that big and colorful.
Well,
It seems kind of childish to me.
The 900, remember, is the Windows Phone 7 phone. We tested it earlier
yes,
this year.
it's bigger because it
I guess.
needed to have the bigger battery. It had
Right.
the bigger screen but the same resolution because
Right.
Windows Phone 7 just didn't support it yet.
Yeah,
The
I found it a bit off-putting.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a thing. The internal sources have said no Windows Phone,
guess
no
we'll-
Microsoft
I
Windows
guess we'll
Phone
see.
this year, which says to me that it happens next year.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have to say because they can't mess up their
Right.
current holiday offerings.
Of course.
I'm still waiting for that Surface tablet.
Is that going to be this year?
That's supposed to be timed. The ARM one is supposed to, the really thin one is supposed to be timed with the release of Windows 8.
I'm not seeing it.
That's 3 weeks away. We have no pricing, no availability.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't buy it. I would love to see. I mean, again,
maybe that's something we can unveil.
I think it's potentially a terrific
OCTOBERKAST.
product. I've been bullish about the Surface since
Paul
they first
Allen.
announced it.
Did you read Paul Allen the co-founder of Microsoft? He wrote a long blog post about his opinions on Windows 8, and he was critical of the exact same things that we were critical of, which were the duality,
the two OSs,
having two OSs and Internet Explorer having two versions of Internet Explorer where bookmarks didn't sync up, and charms being hidden in a way where desktop users wouldn't get it.
So he was cynical about it.
Yeah, well, he isn't cynical. He liked some things about it. He was agreed that it was a very ambitious move, but it wasn't glowing.
Yeah,
and this is from a guy who co-founded Microsoft.
So if I had Paul Allen's money, I wouldn't be sitting around writing fucking blog posts. I mean, I do that now because I've got nothing better to do. But like, if I had Paul Allen's dough, I would not be sitting around writing blogs.
He's on his yacht. What is he doing?
I guess
you got time.
I guess he's got like his own satellite hovering over him, so he's got like really good Wi-Fi on his yacht.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh no, that's maybe the best one yet. NASA.
A NASA sticker.
That's the meatball too, not the bullshit.
Okay, that's
the
very good.
What does the note say on the back?
You guys are fantastic. Keep up the great work and always be testing.
No, do you think he actually works at NASA?
Ben.
No, I think this is a souvenir sticker anyone can get.
Okay,
but still, I don't have one.
That's still awesome.
That is very cool.
It's a nice, good.
I think that's the current front runner.
Paul Allen's often been critical of Microsoft, though. This isn't a new thing. He was critical of them during the Windows Vista debacle. He was critical during the antitrust stuff. So
is he their Woz?
Woz isn't really critical though. Woz is very positive.
Woz is critical of
no, I think Woz just says. I think Woz is just very.
He's forthright.
Yeah, he's just open and not PC. He just says what's on his mind, and sometimes it's critical, sometimes it's positive. But I think he's mostly on the side of being positive.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
Well, if he waits in line, for the phones, and
I mean, it's because he's so goddamn avuncular. It's like
that's exactly it.
It's hard to put a negative spin on anything he says.
The Windows 8 stuff. Have neither of you have still really used Windows 8, right?
No. Well, like for 5 minutes on one of the
that doesn't
laptops
count.
that you had.
I have not converted over yet.
Yeah, I just. Like, I'm comfortable with it now. I still don't like it. Like, it's just.
And you refuse to install a start menu replacement.
No, that's cheating. That is bypassing the problem. I mean, if you're going to make this change, you should live with it. I've been thinking about rolling back as soon as I finish the Windows 8 stuff. I'm probably going to roll back to my Windows.
So what do you think? How do you think it's going to work with people like just living in the metro environment? And how many people are just going to say, "Well, fuck that. I just want Windows to look like I know it. And just get rid of it and go straight into the full desktop."
Well, you can't do that unless you cheat and use like a start menu replacement or something like that. Some third-party software.
No, but there is a way to make Metro go away, right? And see a bar at the bottom and
you always see the bar at the bottom on
taskbar.
old-fashioned Windows. You always launch straight to the start menu, the start screen.
Right.
And to launch apps, you go to the start screen.
What happens if you lock your system and then unlock it? Are you also jumping to the start screen?
You go to wherever you were last.
Oh, that's good.
But you see the Metro login screen.
This is by far the most interesting version of Windows in that it's the biggest, most radical departure in a long time. Nobody really knows how it's going to, if people are going to embrace it or reject it.
If you think about Windows 7 and what Windows 7 did, what was great, it did Windows management really well. Like the stuff with expanding windows, tiling windows, and fix the taskbar.
Well,
made
the
taskbar,
thumbnall's on the taskbar, so you can see multiple windows.
All that stuff was good. Made the taskbar and Windows management really well. And that was enough to make it warrant the upgrade.
Well, and performance improvements and stability.
If all they did with Windows 8, and I don't care about the tablet stuff, they could have used that same development and have the Metro start screen, but for desktop, improve touch. So touch would be the great third input device. So stick to keyboard and mouse being the first primary and secondary input devices, typing with keyboard, moving cursors around with mouse, but allow a great touch experience where if you want to blow up a window, blow up an image, you can just touch the screen. That would have been enough for me.
Well, the other thing they could have done is said, hey, this is what the desktop looks like if you're using a mouse and keyboard. This is what it looks like if you're using a touch device.
And they wanted to go all in, but they didn't.
But they didn't go all in. That's the thing is, Metro is great for touch and terrible for mouse. Desktop is terrible for touch and great for mouse and keyboard. And it's like the fact that all that touch stuff is in there for people who are going to primarily use it with mouse and keyboard is really, really weird, and is going to be, people are not going to like it. I mean, it is going to be I think a strongly negatively received OS. I'm not optimistic.
It's a bold prediction.
Yeah, it's not bold at all. Nobody likes it.
But it's going to be different from Windows 7. People didn't like Windows 7 because it was broken.
No, Windows 7 was great. Windows Vista.
No, sorry. Excuse me. Vista. People didn't like Vista because it was broken.
Yeah.
You're saying though that people won't like 8 because they just don't like the whole concept behind
the
it.
problem with the Vista is it added a couple of neat features, like the ability. It had full. It was the first OS that shipped with or first version of Windows that shipped with real desktop search. Right. So if you look at what PCs were capable of when Windows XP came out, then like you were running on maybe a gigahertz processor if you had a really high end machine, single core. Probably 512 gigs of megabytes of RAM and like a 32 megabyte video card, right?
Right.
It was an uncapable machine. The amount of processor power we gained between Windows XP, which came out in October of 2001, and Windows Vista, which came out in October of 2005, 2007.
Norm's on his phone. He can't engage right now.
When did Vista come out?
Vista was out
Like 2007. I was editor of Max PC by that point, wasn't
before
I?
2007. Vista was before 2007.
It's unfortunate that you don't have a computer in front of you that you could look up this kind of thing on.
Yeah, if only you had some kind of
Device.
resource that was tied into an information
Yeah.
network where you could just pull up
That would be
this
amazing.
data right away.
Regardless, massive advances in processor, the amount of power that even a crappy computer had at hand happened over that period of time. So they were able to do things like desktop search, which indexed all the contents of your hard drive. That was magic in 2001.
Oh yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Remember when you typed something in, you had to wait ages for it to find it?
Yeah. It would literally, and you couldn't search inside a file. That was crazy.
Right. So are you saying that Windows 8 to your mind is fundamentally ill-conceived?
I think that I don't think that the idea of building an OS that works for both touch and mouse and keyboard is a bad idea. I think that the approach that they took to take a touch interface and a mouse and keyboard interface and glue them together in a way that you can't use the one that's best for whichever platform you're on whichever device you're on is fundamentally flawed. I think that's a mistake.
Right.
I think it's trying to force people. I mean, they're doing it because they want to have a massive number of users of that Metro App Store, so that they can get developers to write software for the OS. And I get that. It makes sense. It's the way for them to promote their platform, both for the desktop and for mobile. But it's people are not going to like it at all because it's very forced.
But isn't the likelihood that people on desktops that are using a keyboard and mouse will just live in the start screen, and people that are using Surface or a tablet will live in Metro? I mean, isn't that supposed
You mean to live on the desktop and live in the start menu?
Yeah,
They really believe, and from the meetings we've had with Microsoft people and watching them demo the computers, that people on desktop and laptops will be using that start screen.
Right. They are the true believers.
just so we understand the terms. By start screen, we mean the big,
The tiles,
colorful
the
tiles.
squares.
Yes. Right. Okay.
The new Windows experience.
That has replaced the start menu. It is called the start screen.
Yes.
And it's called
Whereas
modern
the
style
start
apps.
menu was just a tool, the start screen is a user interface.
A destination.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not super optimistic, and I see more and more people writing about it every day. I've kind of been sitting here.
So
quietly
is the
thinking about
general
it.
kind of zeitgeist when you look at the blogs and the tech people out there, the people that have been using it, that is it leaning
grognards
towards the negative?
Are negative.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty consistently.
Negative is bad from a financial
But these are the same
perspective.
grognards that said that Apple was gonna commit suicide over the iPhone. I mean, what do these people?
This is
fucking
true.
know?
The difference is they all said that before they'd had a chance to use the iPhone, and these
Right.
people have been using the OS for 6 months now.
Right.
So
that's fair enough.
You don't have to upgrade.
I mean, that's the thing is
They'll still sell Windows 7 licenses.
I think it might end up still doing what Microsoft needs it to do most, which is to say, on desktop, I think some people may be slightly annoyed by it. Well, they'll just live with it. Windows is just a force of nature. I mean, even if you hate it, you kind of just have to put up with it. But what it does do is now make it viable for tablets in a way that it wasn't before.
and if it gets developers on the platform, that's a good thing for Microsoft. I just think
More worrisome, I think, for Microsoft is that Office is becoming less and less relevant.
and that was one of the 3 pillars of their business.
Yeah, when you're talking about a pillar of business is a software productivity suite that's being replaced for both businesses and home use by Google,
Mostly
and Salesforce.
by home use.
Yeah, I can't believe there's a lot of businesses relying on fucking Google Docs.
Well,
I mean, there are a lot of it, but not at like the serious enterprise level.
Well, there are enterprise equivalents that they pay for that are cheaper.
the difference between enterprise use and home use for those documents is if you're an enterprise where you're business involves sharing data and like working on big shared spreadsheets that everybody accesses at the same time, Google Docs has huge advantages because 3 people can be editing it at once.
Yeah, it's a great system.
The difference is if you have really complex stuff that has massive formulas and does a lot of math, that doesn't work as well on Google as it does with Excel and stuff like that.
Anyway, who knows? October 26th will come and pass, and we will judge Windows 8 after the public embraces it or doesn't.
Well, no, we'll decide what we think, and then the public can decide what they think, and it'll work itself out. iPad Mini begins production, according to Wall Street Journal.
Is that a rumor?
I think that's
Rumor.
Well, Ukrainianiphone.com, a source that clearly cannot in any way be impeached, did reveal the latest fab parts. And honestly, remember in the old days, Apple did a much better job. Like Apple, rumor control at Apple was really, really strong. Hey, Will, can you get me a Red Bull out the fridge, please? Thank you. But these days, like all those iPhone 5 parts that leaked, that all ended up being it. All those rumors were genuine.
And the problem is that previously, Apple, remember when the first iPhone came out?
Yeah.
That was a tightly guarded secret because it was all contained within Apple. Production
Right.
didn't start until after the announcement, announced in January, and then
Right.
released in June
Right.
or July, July-ish. And now it's a global launch. Apple has to ramp up. They have different
Right,
suppliers.
so more suppliers, more points of vulnerability for things
it's
to
not
leak
in the
out.
lab anymore. But
Right.
even remember when the iPad was announced, we had photos the night before
Yeah.
from the laboratory.
It's just seeming more prevalent these days. So when I see these images on Ukrainianiphone.com of like, here's the back casing, here's the front panel, I'm like, yeah, I buy that. This is probably what it's going to be.
I don't think it hurts Apple at all.
The thing is, it's not like it's terribly difficult to imagine what the iPad Mini is going to look like, right?
What people want to know is, is it going to be thinner, lighter than the Nexus 7 if weight is a big consideration?
Yeah.
Materials, and what really matters is cost and is actually fun to easy to use.
I'm excited to see it. I mean, I definitely, from playing around with the Nexus 7 and the new Kindle Fire HD, I'm totally sold on the 7-inch format, and I'm looking.
Do you still
I'm
use
looking
your
forward.
iPad every day?
I do use it every day, but I use it mostly like on my kitchen table. I sit at my kitchen table, eat my breakfast, eat my lunch, and I scroll around and check tweets and read articles and
I
things.
do that on the phone.
I don't really carry it around, but I feel like if I had the smaller version, I'd be more likely to take it
leave it in
out
your
with me.
bag.
Yeah.
So
How many fourth devices do you need? How many third screens do you need?
I like technology.
so true.
You have a Kindle, you have an iPhone, you have a MacBook Air, you have a PC desktop, you have an iMac, which I guess PC desktop and iMac are kind of equivalents.
I'm keeping this fucking economy afloat.
Yeah, Gary, you are the
It's not about Big Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bear. You want all the bears.
I have
all
to
the
have
porridge.
all the
You want
bears.
all the porridge.
I have to have all the bears.
Why do you think they're having trouble keeping secrets as much these days?
They're not afraid of jobs anymore.
No, I think we talked about this. We said that because of their production demands, because they launch on a global scale,
Because they're making more products.
they're making more products that they ramp up ahead of time, more distribution partners, and because technology is it's difficult to control. Like
People are more interested.
So we think we'll see an iPad Mini, and we think that it'll be announced soon, and we think it'll be available before the holidays, don't we? I mean, all
Absolutely.
that sounds like that makes sense.
Yes, my eggs are safe, safely not in my mouth.
Because I tell you, you remember how we used to say there's no tablet market, there's an iPad market? That's not true anymore. There's been huge. Apple now, I think it's close to 50%, if not more, of the tablet market is non-iPad tablets.
Well, the
'Cause we've finally started to see decent
now
tablets come out that
if
aren't
you look
iPads.
at the distribution of all this analysts, no one has actual sales numbers, but the analyst claims are that iPad is a huge percent, 70% of the tablet market is iPad, and 25%.
Which that's amazing considering it's the expensive one. Just to be clear,
Yes.
that's stunning.
Yes, the $500, and this is not in terms of sales, in terms of amount of money made. It's in terms of units sold. But if you look at data usage and because
You mean web traffic?
and web traffic and who's actually browsing the web
Well, iPad wins.
by a huge margin.
Right. So what does that mean? That people are buying these other tablets but not using them?
Maybe not using them in the same way.
I think I think that there's two inflection points here. First is when the Kindle Fire came out, because that was the first non-iPad tablet that actually sold units, right? But judging I love hearing envelopes. Judging by the the way people seem to use that, though, it seemed like people were using that as essentially a fancy e-reader with video and audio capabilities too.
The browser was no good.
I think that the new, starting with the Nexus 7 and the new Kindle Fire,
The new one's actually good.
The new one's quite good.
It took them one generation to get it right, but the new one, the first one was very hard to recommend. The new one seems much easier to recommend.
Well,
Especially if you
I'm
can
not
root
sure
it.
about the big 8.9 one.
We don't
have it yet.
We don't have, but it's like, I don't know. I don't quite get it. Like I said, I've become so seduced by the smaller tablets now that the big ones look kind of ungainly to me.
Well, the smaller tablets add something that you don't have in your life right now. A lightweight, bigger than
right.
phone.
But with the big one, I'm just looking at, well, if I was going to have a tablet this size, I'd probably be better off with an iPad because it would, especially they're asking $500 for that one. For the Kindle Fire, the big HD
that's
one?
with 3G. It's cheaper if
With
you have
LTE.
Okay, with cellular data, it's more expensive. It was, I can't remember what it would cost, but it was like
$500, but
$800 for all of them.
You get LTE, and then you also get access to a cheap data plan.
Right, but the Wi-Fi one was very reasonably priced, I thought.
Yeah, so I think the tablet market is much more interesting and competitive than it used to be. And Apple clearly has identified a need to respond with a smaller tablet. And I do think we'll see it this Christmas, and I think it'll help them immensely. And it will continue to be competitive.
And every time I have relatives who have not used computers, ask them what to get, I just tell them to get the iPad. I would personally, if there was a only computer.
Like if you would get that rather than a MacBook or a Windows machine or something like that.
For a relative who
someone who
just needs
email and web browsing.
For someone who's not
Maybe
computer
web browsing.
literate,
Yeah.
like I'm going to give my parents an iPad because I think that's actually finally the first computer that they could probably use without any hassle.
Exactly. Email
And they don't need it to do
banking.
very much.
Look at pictures.
Yeah. Look at pictures.
FaceTime, see the grandkids.
Yeah, FaceTime, email, bit of web browsing, maybe play a couple of games. That's it.
They'll take photos with the iPads too.
Yeah, take photos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're not going, oh, the ISO settings. Like they're just happy to have a picture on their iPad.
Exactly.
They're not like you and me, obsessing over every fucking granular detail.
HTC updated, speaking of granular details, HTC updated the One X this morning. There's a new version called the One X Plus that includes Tegra 3, a bigger battery, more storage, and it ships with Jelly Bean.
All right.
2%.
And
No,
that's
10%?
and that is one of the top tier Android phones, isn't it? The HD One X.
I think if I were buying a phone right now, it's either, and I was buying an Android phone, it would either be the One X, the Galaxy S3, and I think the Galaxy Nexus is old enough now that you probably shouldn't recommend it.
Even though it just got Jelly Bean for everyone.
Even though it just got Jelly Bean for
Wait, so
everyone.
you wouldn't recommend the Galaxy Nexus?
It's a year old at this point, and the new phones have better SoCs and better, like the LTE modem's better in the newer phones. I think they're probably going to release a new Nexus phone later this year.
I got to tell you, I do see. It used to be that when I look at the pie chart that shows that there are actually more Android phones out there than iPhones. And I couldn't square that with what I would see on the street. I would see many more iPhones. But I got to tell you, these days, I see a lot of Android phones. And you can't miss them because they're so fucking huge. Like, oh, yeah, that guy's got an Android phone.
Good job. That was a good one.
No, it's good. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying they're very big phones.
It was interesting going to the East Coast for a while because I think the market's dramatically different there.
What's it like over there?
All iPhones.
I noticed.
Oh, yeah?
There were a lot of iPhones, but I noticed a lot more Android phones, and I even saw a bunch of Blackberries on the.
I saw a lot of
BlackBerry is
Blackberries.
still
I did see a
ton
lot
of
of
Blackberries.
Oh, do you have anything about BlackBerry 10 and BlackBerry Jam on the list for this week?
No, I'm good.
Are we just not bothering anymore? Do we just not care?
I think they're out of our purview.
Well, let's talk about it for a second. BlackBerry clearly feels like they've got one last big shot to reinvent
This is the
themselves
third time
with
they've had
BlackBerry
one last
10.
shot.
But by simply refusing to even acknowledge it in coverage, you're saying it's not.
I think that their last shot was the last.
It's over.
I think that as a serious contender, they have to prove something before I'm going to.
They've just lost too much ground.
Their theme song has been that Eminem song for about 5 years now. You know, the one from 8 Mile.
Oh, really?
I think that's it.
Oh shit!
What do you
That's
mean
so
theme
out of
song?
date.
Like when the
Like
Lose Yourself.
CEO
Lose Yourself. I think the theme song for Rim is Lose Yourself. Oh, is that a Puffy sticker?
Puffy
Oh,
sticker.
dude, those are bomb stickers. That's a Super Mario Brothers like lenticular one.
I'm holding it for a lenticular.
That's a lenticular right there, isn't it?
Nope.
Oh,
No.
Yeah, it is. Tilt it, or is it just Puffy?
It's Puffy.
Oh.
My Avengers Blu-ray comes with a lenticular cover.
You got
do
that
you
one?
save
Why
those?
did you get that? It
Because
was
of the
I don't
DVD.
throw them away.
no. Why did you get the more expensive one that was
Because it's the
unnecessary?
only one that has the actual real theatrical poster art on it. All the other ones are shitty.
Tell him, Gary. Tell him, Steve Dave.
It was it was $5 extra. And you get the 3D version, which I'll never watch.
Yeah, that's.
But whatever.
you know-
I wanted the proper poster art. I didn't want the shit that they put on the DVD version.
Do you know why I get those? The ones with the DVD in them is because then you can just rip the DVD.
Plus, lenticular is, even after all these decades it's been around, it's still cool.
I throw them. I always throw that out.
Oh, I like them.
The slipcover.
Yeah, I always throw the slipcover out.
All right,
Sorry.
I keep it.
We skipped over BlackBerry.
Yeah,
The
see?
lenticular stickers were more interesting
Than
BlackBerry's
BlackBerry's entire future.
So what we've learned
should.
today is that RIM should just sell a phone husk, nothing in it, with a lenticular screen on it, and we would be totally.
That would be more
transfixed.
compelling than what they're currently working on.
I don't know if I would say that. I know there's a lot of people up there working very hard. I want to see product before
We'll
I
be
care.
talking about it.
The new alpha hardware that the BlackBerry 10 is running, it looks a lot like every other smartphone now, just like a rectangle with the screen. I think they finally figured that out. That's what
Only
people actually
5
want.
years late.
Yeah.
You know what the
Good
iPhone
job,
still doesn't
guys.
have that I want that Android phones have and Blackberries have is a blinking light. A blinking
Really?
notification light.
Because
that annoys
in your
when-
pocket.
When I used to, I had a BlackBerry. I had a BlackBerry 8800 before the first iPhone
Wow.
came out, and that blinking light annoyed the piss out
You
of
can
me.
turn it off.
I want the option to have it on or off because I have my phone out of my pocket on my desk at work, and I want the glance without turning on the LCD to know if I have new messages.
All right, fair enough.
Whatever. App.net. They dropped their prices this week.
What's app.net?
App.net. Remember a few months ago when you might not because you were having a baby and working on Walking Dead, but a few months ago, Twitter changed the terms of their API deal so that if you wanted to develop apps for Twitter, basically they dramatically limited the number of potential customers any third party a Twitter app could have. So, like if you were building, say, Tweetbot, which is a Twitter client that we like for iPad and iPhone
and OS X also.
and OS 10 as well, yeah. Then basically they said, hey, the most users you can ever have is this. And it's a large number, but it's essentially finite. And it says, okay, well, this makes it a little bit less good. They're trying to take control of their platform and so they can run ads and make money on Twitter or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
Around the same time that happened, and probably not because of that directly, but something that had been in the works for a while, was a service called App.net launched. And their deal is, look, we don't want to make money on ads with this service. We want to build a service that's for people, and that costs money. So we're going to charge you money to use this Twitter-like service.
It's called Hey, I Have $50.com.
that is the other nickname for the app.
It costs $50 a year, or used to cost $50 a year to use this Twitter-like service. We have reserve your screen name.
It's 256 characters instead of 160, I think.
Okay, 140.
140.
And
This doesn't really sound like it's engineered for mass appeal. Like, isn't the whole point of Twitter that like everyone's on it? Like, if you start charging people $50,
My hunch would be that at some point after the initial early adopters have come in, they'll open up a free tier that's driven by advertising.
okay.
So the idea is if you want to, because the thing is, I would have no beef with Twitter if they would let me use whatever app I want for it and charge and see
Twitter
no
can't-
ads.
The problem with Twitter is that they started free, so they can't start charging now.
I understand.
So App.net goes the other way around, starts charging for free
Right.
service or for ad-free service, and then will
Hit you with eye blasters
and
if you don't
have
want to pay.
the free model.
right?
So they've already dropped the price. They dropped the price this week. It's $36 a year now from $50. At the same time, Tapbots, the people that make Tweetbot, our favorite, my favorite Twitter client, I don't
Certainly
speak
is.
for
Yeah,
you
it's
guys,
my favorite too.
released NetBot for iPad and iPhone, which is a Tweetbot clone for App.net. It's basically Tweetbot for App.net.
Okay, all right.
What are the conversations like on App.net? Because you can't see them or follow people unless you're on the service.
You can't see them even?
Well, I don't know if is it public?
Shit, I don't know. I never even tried.
I don't care about this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then fine. Good talk, guys. I've seen a lot of people pop up in the last net.
Will's paid for
I
it.
paid
so
for it.
He's invested. Pot committed.
The official Twitter app just had a massive update. Seems like they're trying to
It's real bad still.
keep up. Yeah, on the iPad version, it sucks.
Well, they added all the stuff that was on the web version to the iPad version.
Yeah.
And it's a real cluster.
Yeah, I still prefer Tweetbot.
I want to go back to Microsoft for a little bit. Microsoft also is going to likely have a free streaming service, music streaming service, built into Windows Phone 8 and
Zune.
Windows. Basically Zune, but with ad-free music streaming, much like Pandora
How are they
and
doing it
Audio.
ad-free?
Or free ad-based music streaming
okay.
service.
Does that mean ads appear on my screen, or I have to listen to ads between songs?
I am unsure. Probably listen.
Oh my god,
That's how Pandora works.
That's why you
That's
pay
how
$10 a
Spotify
month
works.
for audio or whatever.
I suppose.
So yeah, app.net seems to be a thing. I don't know if it's going to be real. The other reason you use app.net is because you can hook it into other services. So like Twitter won't let Tumblr connect to it anymore. App.net you should theoretically be able to use to pipe out content to everybody. Anyway, there was a Verizon iPhone 5 bug where have you seen this, Gary?
No, what's this?
So if you were one of the things that's changed with iOS 6 is that the OS is smarter now when you're connected to Wi-Fi. If for example, say your home internet's down, you're connected to Wi-Fi at home, you try to go to the internet and it just doesn't work, right? I don't know if you ever had that happen to you.
I don't think so.
So I have had problems with my internet going down at home, as you may or may not be aware.
I do know that.
And in order to use the LTE or the 3G on my iPhone, I had to turn off Wi-Fi with previous versions of iOS before 6.
Okay.
In order to access
Because
the
it would
internet.
still tap into the Wi-Fi.
It would think the Wi-Fi was the internet,
but it would
blindly.
not check to see if you're actually connected to the internet.
Right. So like,
I think that's kind of happened to me in the
Yeah.
past. Yeah, okay.
so they added this thing in iOS 6 that kind of allows you to use your if your Wi-Fi is broken or your Wi-Fi doesn't actually say, like if you're at a Starbucks or something, you have to hit an agree page in order to use the Wi-Fi.
Right.
It'll now just use the LTE, so you don't have to go in and turn off the Wi-Fi manually.
I like that.
There was a problem with the Verizon carrier settings that caused the phone to use LTE even when you were on perfectly good Wi-Fi.
Oh, right. No, I have heard about this. Yeah, so people's data was getting eaten
People
up,
use
even though they felt like they weren't consuming it.
Massive amounts of data.
Yeah, I've heard about that. That's
Yeah.
bad. Have they fixed it?
They dumped a carrier update the other day. So you can go to settings, usage, I think, and it'll say, hey, there's a carrier update. And then you have to reboot your phone.
Hold on. What?
Wait a tick.
Let's take a look at this. We will test this live on
Excellent.
air.
Um,
It just said carrier settings update.
Oh my God.
It literally happened right as
Uncanny.
you. So hold on, let me go to usage. Is it in general? Yeah, usage. And then what? Do I go to cellular
Just
usage?
hit OK.
Well, no.
Oh, you want to see how much you've used?
The modal thing disappeared so quickly I didn't even get to see it.
Oh, you mashed the button. Norm, are they going to? I think they're not going to charge people for overages as a result of this,
That is
right?
what Verizon has said. I don't know how they're distinguishing. I think
They're probably just going to no overages for
I
this
think it
month,
said
yeah.
carrier settings. I think it just happened in the background.
Oh, you have to reboot the phone in order for it to take full effect. I
Okay,
think.
I'll reboot it now.
But what you've noticed, I mean, we said in our iPhone 5 quick look that when you first get a phone, you tend to use it a lot. And when you first get LTE, we did a lot of speed tests. You tend to use it, overuse it. It's not your typical usage.
Yeah,
Like go wait
put it through its paces.
Yeah, wait like a month or two in, and then really check your monthly
speed testing
use.
constantly.
Yeah, you're downloading. Just
don't
my
think
god,
speed
LTE,
testing uses a lot of
But
data,
not just
does
speed
it?
testing, but you're browsing a little more, using the device more.
Yeah, because you're on your honeymoon with your new phone.
And when you're traveling, same thing happens. So we were traveling,
And
we
It's
were-
like when you go on vacation with your Japanese
Wait,
body pillow.
stop this. No,
you
we're good.
just want to be
We're-
with her all the time.
Stop. No.
James Franco it.
Exactly.
Why, Kasumi? Why? Why?
So,
Yeah, so the
looking at
body
our
pillow.
usage for LTE on the iPhone, both on the Verizon AT&T, I think we used a lot of data. I think in the week, almost 2 weeks now that I've had the phone, I've consumed over 5 gigs of transfer.
It's a lot.
So yeah, my typical. Well, so there's two things. One is that the usage thing in iOS for cellular data use was way off for me. When I actually went and looked at what I was using according to Verizon, it was like 2.3 gigs shared between Gina and I. Both of us showed more than 5 gigs used in iOS. So take a look at your AT&T or Verizon or Sprint sign to see what you're actually using. I found, I have to say, well, we'll talk about this when we're testing in a minute, but Verizon seems like you got a pass on data this month, at least until you install the carrier update. And then the last thing on the news list this week is that T-Mobile buys and merges Metro PCS. So
The low-cost leader.
yeah, Metro PCS is a flat month, no contract, no credit check. You go in and you just pay $35 a month or whatever it happened to be.
Is that a good deal? Those Metro PCS type companies? I've never really looked into it, but it seems like not having a contract. Obviously, that's very attractive for a lot of people. But I don't know if the service is any good.
So for a long time, the last time I looked at Metro PCS seriously was when I lived in Knoxville and didn't travel a bunch.
Right.
In the old days before nationwide roaming and all that stuff, it was a great deal because you paid like $30 a month. It only worked in your coverage area, right? So if you were in Knoxville, Tennessee, your phone worked in Knoxville, Tennessee, which for most people is fine.
Right. But what happens when you go on a trip?
Roaming.
Yeah, you roam and
But
they
then you
charge
get
you more or
gouged,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, you get gouged. Now I think that those plans are all nationwide and limited too. I don't know exactly how they work.
Now, do companies like Metro PCS have their own towers, or are they borrowing someone else's network?
So Metro PCS has had a CDMA network. It's unclear how much of that was leased from other providers and how much was their own.
Right.
But yeah, they seem to have had some network because one of the things that they announced is that they're moving off of CDMA by 2015. So
Okay.
that means it'll be a GSM network just like T-Mobile soon. I honestly, especially if you want like a burner phone or you're a secret agent or something and need an untraceable phone.
Like Jason Bourne.
Yeah, you go
prepaid phone.
Go into the 7-Eleven, pay cash for the prepaid phone.
Yeah.
Only use it for one call and then throw it in the trash. You're good. That's the market for prepaid phones.
Right. Yeah, you just need something in a quick fix.
Yeah, you just need to be able to call your man, make a call to the secret
to get
CIA
to get your re-up.
Yeah. Let Joan Allen let Joan Allen know you're coming for her, and then it all works itself out in the end.
That's right.
Anything else on the news front, guys?
I don't know.
How are you doing on Sticker Quest?
I haven't been keeping up with it.
I'm like halfway done. What else happened in the news this week? Sharp's doing a 1080p LCD screen.
Okay. Small, big,
5 inches.
That's pretty small.
That's 1080p and 5
Is it going to have yellow pixels?
Who knows?
Because Sharp's
Yeah,
thing
the
on TVs is the
Quattro.
Quattro.
Yeah, yellow pixels.
No, I don't think
Extra
so.
yellow. Did you guys see that Battlefield 3 mod where they take away the blue lighting so it looks like real life instead of super blue like Battlefield 3?
Does Battlefield 3 have a blue hue?
Battlefield 3 is strongly blue tinted. Yes.
I didn't see that.
Wow, this guy, instead of mailing stickers, he mailed me stamps.
That's pretty cool.
So what, they made the game look more realistic just by taking out
By taking
one
out,
color?
turning off a shader, basically.
Ah,
Yeah.
I wonder why the developers themselves didn't figure that out.
I mean, but they wanted to look. I think they wanted to look kind of TV. Would be my guess. Like it was on a tube. Anything else in the news front? Maker Faire was last week.
Let's
Let's talk about that. What we've been testing. I'm going to play some music.
Nokia lost its headquarters.
What?
Out of a home.
They did
Nokia is homeless.
They got evicted.
I think so. There was something I read today.
Now, one other story
Wow.
that I saw
Good, cool story, bro.
that was, I guess, associated to Nokia is that some ex-Nokia employees have managed to secure $250 million in funding to launch their own new smartphone platform based on Migo, which to me sounds like just an absolute license to destroy money. That's got to be some kind of money laundering tax write-off operation.
Internet
because-
optimist Gary Whitta.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I never actually saw
I'll
a
take
Migo device
$250
running.
million.
I mean, I think it was at some IDFs, but I never saw anything running on Migo.
I mean,
Like a
you know,
real
I don't care
product.
how good your operating system is. Like even with Windows 8, like I want to be in the room where the Migo guys are going, here is the gap in the smartphone market that we've identified. Here's the opportunity. Where?
You mean the market that has eaten RIM and Palm and a bunch of other really established
Yeah, I mean,
companies?
it's just
Almost
that market
Nokia.
is a meat grinder. If you're not Apple or Google or maybe, I mean, if we're on about whether if Microsoft can get in there, what chances anyone else have at this point?
To be fair, there are a lot of people who don't want really complicated smartphones.
Oh, you're saying
computers
you're saying
in
the
their pocket.
gap is crappy phones.
I think that and you know the crappy the dumb phones,
Yeah.
the interface
Feature
old
phones,
the feature
thank you.
phones,
Yeah.
have had crappy interfaces for a while. They're slow. I think there might be a potential market for a really nice dumb phone, feature phone.
Dumb smartphones.
Exactly.
I'm really
Okay.
bummed that there's no.
The iPod Nano of phones.
And boy, that category does exist. I have seen those phones.
But do they have good UIs?
No,
Yeah.
Big buttons, like
no,
they
I'm
have-
not buying it.
Why does it not have a B-wing pilot?
Doesn't it?
No,
I don't know.
I'm a
All I
little
know
sad
is
about that.
B-Wing is awesome.
B-wing is awesome, but the green guy with the cool
RIM
helmet.
should make
Yeah.
lenticular stickers and B-wing models.
It's terrible.
If they made a BlackBerry that looked like a B-Wing, I might consider
You guys are bad people.
flipping over to BlackBerry.
Hey, have either of you tested out Passbook?
I mean, I've got coupons on it. I haven't actually like scanned anything at the register,
Yeah.
but I've got some Target coupons on
Now,
it.
what is the best way for you to use Passbook? Find Passbook apps.
I go
Well,
to the App Store
for-
and hit the button at the bottom because
No,
mine still doesn't have
because
any
you don't have
Passbook.
it.
Well, first of all, Apple needs to get a section in their app store that says, here are apps that support Passbook.
You like that one right there? It says apps for Passbook.
Oh, they have that now? They've added that?
Looks like it.
Okay, good. Because they didn't have that when I
Mission
last checked.
accomplished, guys.
So that's good.
I had to click that from.
It's
the
all going to
Passbook
be
app.
about third-party support. You got to remember, you're also going to be able to get stuff in your passbook through clicking on web links and through getting emails that have those links. So it's going to start populating. Starbucks, I think I heard, is going to start supporting it very soon.
I
You'll
just
be able
want
to
plane
get your Starbucks
tickets.
card on there.
Yeah, Starbucks was in there for a while.
Plane
during the beta.
tickets, but again, it's got to be airlines that you like. American Airlines, United are on there. Right? I don't fly with those airlines unless,
know if I can
unless I'm
help it.
absolutely no choice. Once Virgin America starts supporting it, brilliant.
Hey, high five.
Best airline.
I know exactly.
That,
There
we
is
just
one
barely
thing.
made. That was the widest high five. It's like
What? Yes, widest.
whitest.
Oh.
It was both
Oh.
widest and whitest.
Goodness. I did want to talk about one service that was just announced. Movie Pass. You heard about this?
No, what's that?
It's a subscription service that you pay $30 a month. Some areas might be 40, some areas might be 20.
Oh, and you can like see as many movies as you
You can
want.
see as many movies as you want in
Now
theaters.
they've tried to get
Wait,
this
it's
off the
like
ground. It's
Netflix for
always been shut
theaters?
down. Like the theater companies or the studios, some
They have
don't
gone
want it.
by. And the way those things have worked before is theater chains have run subscription services themselves. Like for example, like a Landmark Cinema will say, "We're the indie theater. Watch
Right.
a dozen indie movies and pay only $100
Yeah.
or something." They've bypassed that system completely by using a debit card system. So what you get is an app, like a Fandango app,
Okay.
similar to that has listings and taps into a shared database of movie
Right,
screenings,
right.
and then a debit card. And what they do is when you want to watch a movie, for example, if I want to watch Looper, this weekend or something,
That would be a good movie to go see.
exactly.
I would
right?
love to go see Looper this
And-
weekend. Thanks, Norm.
I'm gonna go to the Metreon or someplace close. I haven't decided where I want to watch it yet. Maybe I'll go after work, watch it. So go to Metreon. I know Metreon accepts credit cards, so by definition they also accept debit cards. I let the app know I'm gonna watch Looper today
Okay.
at 7 p.m.
All right.
Then that authorizes Movie Pass to then add $12 to my debit
Oh,
card.
so it's not really subscription series. It's just
They're
just an
comping
easy
me.
way to pay
How
per
does this
movie.
work?
But they'll add as much money as needed for you to watch, and all you do is pay that $30 or $40 a month.
So what? I don't understand.
okay.
So do they have a deal with the movie theater that
No,
gets
they
them
don't
discounts
need-
on these
no,
prices?
no.
They're just gambling that you're
they're
going to go to fewer
gambling
movies a month than you
it
pay
would
for.
cost. Correct.
Wow, that is the stupidest fucking
but
thing
the
I've
thing
ever
I
heard
like
in my
about
life.
the idea of a subscription service is I actually feel like if I did it, it would compel me to go see more
Exactly.
movies.
Just like Netflix.
'Cause I'm thinking if I don't,
Just like
if I'm-
RDO and
like, I should go
tells
see
you-
a movie. Otherwise, I'm money wasted.
Like if I subscribe to Spotify, I haven't listened to my new album. this
I
month.
haven't been to the theater. I mean, obviously, I've got a good excuse. I haven't been to the theater since the baby was born.
You saw Avengers was the last thing?
No, Brave was the last thing I saw.
okay.
So I haven't seen Dark Knight Rises. I haven't seen
Wow.
Looper. I haven't seen Dread. I haven't seen The
Dread was really
Master.
good.
I haven't seen. There's a
So-
bunch of movies
so
I
the
really
great
want to
thing
see.
about this Movie Pass program is because it's not tied to a theater.
Yeah.
You could use it for those indie theaters that do second runs.
Well, and you can
know,
use it
as
for
lo-
stuff that
all right.
passes.
All
as
right.
long
I'll look
as
into it.
as long as it accepts credit card and as long as it's part of their database.
And this is an app, or is it? How is
well,
this
you
work?
need to apply. They're testing right now in beta. I
Okay.
would love to try it because
I like that. Yeah, it's
now
good.
there are two catches. One is 2D movies only. They will only comp you.
That's not a catch. That's a bonus.
It is. I think it's a bonus as well. They will only comp you the price of a 2D movie ticket.
What if you
And
go to a
two-
3D movie and watch it with goggle with your 2D?
that doesn't
glasses?
count.
I don't think there's any way
I-
for them to
I-
know that
no.
you're doing that well.
And the other catch is that you can only use it once per day. So you can't do like
Are you going to
can't say-
kind of movie marathons?
can't movie
But that's
marathon.
one of the great things is going to see like 3 movies in a row. I used to love doing that.
I'm going to go and tell you a secret, Gary, about
What?
going to do movie marathons.
What?
If you go to the bathroom between the movie and then act like
They
you're just going back to another
know.
theater.
As someone who makes their living
Yeah.
on selling movie tickets,
Yeah.
I can't say I
You don't support this
that
behavior?
behavior. Yeah, people sneaking in.
Oh, what if I go to a movie? See, I think that if you should have 10 minutes from the start of a movie to change your mind and go see another movie.
I do know of people who are kind of hypocritical, but like they want to support good movies, they just don't want to really see them. So they'll go to the movie theater, like a multiplex, and buy a ticket for The Master.
Okay.
But actually then once you're in,
Go
you walk
watch
into
Dredd?
go see Transformers or some shit. Yeah, but they just don't want to give that movie money. They still want to see it. Battleship
weird.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This UNICEF envelope is the tastiest.
Because it tastes like
Tears of
charity
children.
for children. It helps children.
Tears
it's
of
sweet.
children.
I'm gonna lick it again.
So no passbook. I'm printing with PLA right now, even as we speak. This is PLA,
I don't know what that is.
So
polylactic acid. We went to Maker Faire this weekend.
yeah, you want to talk about Maker Faire?
Let's talk about Maker Faire.
You went to
Or
New
wanna
York
talk about
City.
MakerBot? Let's talk about.
I'm excited because I'm going
We're
to New
gonna
York
talk
City
about New York
next
City.
week.
I know.
We'll talk about whole New York City experience
Yeah.
in fake outtakes. But let's talk about Maker Faire, MakerBot, and the stuff we saw.
All right.
The work-related stuff we saw on this trip. We'll mention PLA, and that's a
Yeah.
great way to talk about the new MakerBot, things you might have missed.
I just want to preface this. I will nod politely through this whole segment, but I have no interest in 3D printing.
You know,
Good
Chris
call.
I will
Anderson-
at least attempt to appear interested.
Chris Anderson, editor-in-chief of Wired Magazine, and he every year it seems like he has a trend that he wants to champion, a cause,
a thing.
He has a cause every year.
Yeah, what is it this
4
year?
years ago, he wrote a book about the long tail, and that was his
remember.
thing.
Yeah.
3 years ago, it was about the freemium economy. Everything was going to be free.
Free.
Or cheap, subsidized by ads, and to some extent, we have some of that.
That's
in the
largely
Kindle
true.
there. Yeah. Last year, it was about drones, about the rise of drones, and we're still kind of seeing
Well, like military drones or
drones everywhere. You know, the idea that we have autonomous drones are going to be a part of our world. They're going to film sports events. They're going to want to use them to relay, you know, radio signals. And
You could have a
also
drone
for
that
warfare.
hovers above you and just
people,
follows you
know,
around all day long.
And the computing is smart enough that drones can do amazing things, hive drones and whatever. This year, it's about the 3D printer revolution and the 3D printing industry having its, the MakerBot specifically having its Macintosh moment. Basically coming out of the garage and being a kit for hobbyists into being a real consumer product. Still high end, but just as Jobs and Woz took the Mac out of their garage as a kit and started making real nice self-contained machines that were more about using than tinkering, than
Right.
fixing, this is that time for 3D printing.
So I will tell you, I read the Wired cover story on the plane on the way to New York. The one about the new MakerBot and what Norm just said, the Macintosh moment, you know, the transition from hobbyist to mainstream. And I thought, oh yeah, more Wired bullshit. Great, move on. Read the next story about Nerf guns. And then we walked around. Well, we did a couple things. We went to see the MakerBot store in New York.
MakerBot actually has a store in Soho.
In like Chelsea, basically, between
Oh,
Chelsea
very,
and Soho.
very trendy.
Soho, like the biggest shopping neighborhood, trendy shopping neighborhood in New York.
Yeah.
They have a store.
It's all minimalist and stuff.
Of course it is. It's all red brick. I don't even need to see it to know what it looks like.
It's like white walls with
Yeah,
like MakerBot
yeah.
printed shelf holders
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like you can go in and you can buy a 3D printer or you can buy some shit that's been printed on a 3D printer.
Okay.
At like art collection prices basically.
Yeah, no doubt.
We then we talked to Bree one morning. That video will be up I think later this week, right? Or maybe tomorrow.
Yes. Friday.
Yeah, instead of a mystery object this week we're going to talk to Bree. And then
And you know what? Bree is Bree Pettis. He's the CEO of MakerBot. He is really being positioned as this Jobs-like figure.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing 3D printing to the masses. You see these photos of him.
I don't think he would say that if you
He wouldn't
asked
say
him.
that, but I'm saying the people who like to glamorize.
I'm sure he's happy to have other people say it.
I actually I don't think
3D
so.
printing.
He's a pretty normal dude. He's not like a. I mean, he is a dude who was. I don't know. We've talked to him a bunch over the years. He does
All right.
not. He does not have a Jobsian air about him now.
Okay.
Maybe in 20 years from now, I'll change my tune. But we talked to him about the new printer.
So,
There's
yeah.
been some controversy around that. About kind of its open, whether it's open hardware or not. I'm not going to. At some point, we'll talk about that in the podcast, but today's not really the day.
So the MakerBot Replicator 2, which is what they announced 2 weeks ago, is like our replicator, which is working right now, the new replicator, the one we saw at CES. But as opposed to being made of laser cut plywood, like the previous MakerBots, the Cupcake and the CNC that we built by hand,
Right.
it's now pre-assembled steel. It looks like a
Right. So it actually looks like something you would buy as opposed to something you built in your own
exactly.
garage. Okay.
Yeah.
The steel has a couple benefits. It's a little less wobbly, so there's a little bit more precision on the layers and stuff like that. The upshot is that they've gone from like a 0.25 millimeter line height to a 0.1 millimeter line height, which you can actually achieve with a well-tuned Replicator 1. The other big change is that they've shifted from ABS plastic, which is what we've always printed with. It's
What Lego's made out of.
right. It's a oil-based, petroleum-based plastic to this stuff called PLA. Now, ABS is a good plastic. It has good properties for printing. It's gooey at the right temperatures. It's relatively easy to put down, but there are some problems with it. It cools at a kind of slow pace, so it kind of tends to curl up on the edges of large prints. And there are some other issues with it. It's very strong when it's finally printed and all that stuff. But PLA is this cornstarch-based plastic. It's polylactic acid, I think is what it stands for.
Biodegradable.
Is it biodegradable?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. But it cools much more evenly, so there's no bendiness, no warping to it. It's a little more brittle when it's finished. It feels kind of nice in the hand. You can feel that if you want.
Very light.
Well, it's you can control that when you're doing the print. You know, like just like you can choose the DPI on a printer, you can choose how much infill.
Look,
how full to make the plastic.
Here's the part. I need to get to the practical part of this. Like,
Okay.
this kind of plastic versus that. It's all great. I get it. Why people like you are really interested in this. Why are you walking? I'm supposed to ask you a question. Okay. Because I don't know if Norman's going to be able to do this. I feel like Will is really the evangelist here.
Will's going to bring something awesome.
Oh, he's going to bring over something more
I'm going to use this short break to talk about a sticker. I got a sticker here. It goes, Dear Norm, Will and Norm, I'm sorry. Send stickers. That's what it says.
Okay. And it's a Duke Nukem Forever. Well, I can certainly see why he's sorry, yeah.
Some asshole sent us a Duke Nukem Forever sticker.
Yep. So, look, here's my problem. And Will's going to bring over something that I think he anticipates is going to help answer my question. It's a great geek science project-y type thing, but if it's going to have its Macintosh moment, it needs to be able to create things that are more desirable than just things, just plastic shapes.
I printed.
Like, show me something. Create something I actually want.
No, but
and then I'll be
think about 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when Macintosh first came out. You know, computers were very. They're expensive. They were premium items that not everyone had. Right. They're only for the wealthy. It was a luxury. And what you could do with it was still very limited, but it was fun.
Spreadsheets. People, you had to explain to people what a spreadsheet, why you would want a spreadsheet.
Well, for example, you would buy a Mac. Like someone who worked in the computing industry would buy a computer, personal computer for home, and the engineer would use it for spreadsheets and typing, right, word processing, and then the kids could jump on it and do something like paint, very basic, simple, fun thing,
or just type. Typing
or
was
just
fun
type
back
exactly. Then. The MakerBot and. To be fair, the Chris Anderson example it's very unique to his case. Not everyone's going to be like Chris Anderson, editor-in-chief of Wired, where he's going to print chess pieces and play with his kids and design them. But kids these days are using 3D modelers basically in games like Minecraft and Sims in Spore.
Right.
They're modeling. And imagine if you had a front end where you design something in Spore and then immediately print that out. And you have that real figure without having to mail to EA and wait, 4 to 6 weeks.
No, that's great. And look, I mean, you've got these little game pieces here. It's great. But I mean, this still strikes me as very niche, very novelty. Like, and this thing here is wonderful. I think this is really
I'm going to show it to
cool.
the camera.
But I don't see it as anything other than a novelty item at this point.
Well, so the places that people use it for real, there's a lot of people using them in engineering fields and design fields.
Right, in the industrial
like
world and stuff, this is great. This could revolutionize the manufacturing industry, but I'm talking about for as a consumer application, I'm not getting it yet.
Well, I don't have kids, so it's difficult for me to say what kids would do when exposed to something like this.
Right.
Kids are crazy about 3D printing.
Right, when we were at Maker Faire and we're watching kids who, obviously they're 1% children, right, because their parents have 3D printers in the house.
No doubt.
But those kids are doing things with 3D printers. They're learning really practical 3D modeling stuff that then allows them to basically turn things that they've had in their head into real objects.
And that's terrific.
I think it's analogous to the early days in the 70s and early 80s in England when kids were programming on Trash 80s and stuff like that. And you look at what came out of like the Peter Molyneux and all the people that came out of that period. And ended up building amazing software because they grew up with it.
I understand that we're at the beginning of something that down the road it's going to be amazing. But right now, it's very, very.
Well, that's why
basic.
it's the Macintosh moment, not the iMac moment.
That's a good point. So I'm going to take so the thing I'm printing today, I'm going to take home and put primer on it and sand it and paint it to just see what it looks like finished. Because I'm curious. This was not a particularly high resolution print. This is a 0.27 millimeter line height rather than 0.1, which is the lowest I can do. But I'm interested to see how it goes. The upshot is you can print a board game if you rather than go to the store.
I
did print a board game. Yeah. You can print gears and cogs and stuff that roll together. We've printed MP3 players. You can print if you have a widget that you can put a motor or electronics into. Like one of the things that people are doing that we saw at Maker Faire is people are printing 3D printers. So they take motors.
Well, that was the original goal of the RepRap.
Of course. But it's actually coming to fruition now. We saw probably, 3 dozen 3D printers, different designs there that use wildly different printing techniques. Lots of people were using 3D printed stuff in other robots. So, for example, the kids made a basketball shooting robot, and I can't remember on that one if there actually were 3D printed parts, but we saw a lot of robots and things that would not have been possible without 3D printing or welding or something like that.
All right.
Your kid's gonna ask for a 3D printer.
Oh, by the time my
For
kid
the
is
12th
grown, then
12th
3D printing is
birthday.
going to be something else entirely, and that'll be amazing.
Yes, but
But I don't think we're ever going to see a time where you press the button and it prints all the circuits and the chips just magically appear and stuff like that. They're not in the foreseeable future.
well, no, 3D printing circuits is totally possible. I
It-
mean, you,
it
you have
is.
you have to put the circuit board there and it just draws.
Right.
I mean, you have circuit ink.
Yes, but I think that that's a completely different thing. I think that that's further off. I think what we'll see is that these are things that you can use to build the kind of structure around other creations, whether they're robots or machines or toys or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, so we saw a shitload of 3D printers. We saw variants of the original MakerBot Cupcake. We saw the Replicator 2, of course. We saw the Utilimaker. We saw the Ultabot. We saw this really cool thing. What was the one called that had the three arms that kind of swirled around? I can't remember that one. We saw wire benders that could build really complex bent wire shapes that I thought were really cool.
You said it was a bender.
It was Bender Bending Rodriguez 0.1.
Yep.
We saw a bunch of robots. We saw the Sentry Gun guys, the Sentry Turret robot guys.
It was a good Maker Faire. It was like Maker Faire in Bay Area, but
In New York.
in New York, but no R2D2s. It was a lot of different things.
It was less artsy and more kind of electronicsy and robot-y.
Yeah.
Seemed like
30% was 3D printers.
there were a lot of 3D printers there. So let's see, what else do we see at MakerBot?
You want to talk about the Form 1?
We should talk about the Form 1. So the Form 1 is a 3D printer designed by some guys at MIT that instead of like our printer pooping out plastic, basically hot molten plastic, it lowers the build platform into this resin and then just paints the design it wants to put on with laser light through the resin. When the laser light hits the resin, the plastic hardens, and then they lift it out a little bit and do it again. And they lift out again, do it again, lift out a little bit, do it again. So you end up with, like, if these are really high detail and look great, they're kind of a turd sandwich compared to the Form 1 printed objects. A little bit smaller build platform, and the resin is kind of expensive compared to the MakerBot. But we have an interview with them up on the site right now. You should check it out. I thought it was very interesting. What else? We saw.
Well, talk about the location. We were in New York.
yeah,
we're in
this is-
Queens, and this was the site of the
Two
World's
World
Fair.
Fairs.
Two World's Fairs. If you
the big globe.
the
big
big
globe.
globe, the spaceships from Men in Black 1.
Yep.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
we
New
weren't
York's
anywhere
pretty
near
great.
those, unfortunately. Like we should have gone over and taken a picture with those. I feel like we missed an opportunity there. Welcome to Earth. It was a really good Maker Faire. Like, I highly encourage anybody who's in the greater New York area to go. You're able to ride the subway. You can go straight out there. It's in Queens, so I mean that you got the good with the bad there. But it was a really have you been to Maker Faire here ever?
No.
Oh, you should go now. You should come with us
No, we
next
keep
year.
meaning to go. We don't get around to it.
Now
We
you have
will.
a kid, you have to go.
Yeah.
It's important if you
Yeah.
want her to be a
You
just
get
human
fair
being.
food. You get paella,
Ooh.
and heroes.
All right, I like that. You see, now you're speaking my language.
Empanadas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so let's take a break and talk about
Fried
New York
stuff?
food.
Okay.
They do have good
Hold on.
food.
I want to describe Norm's approach to food in New York City.
Now, New York is 8 million people, and
It's
a
big.
proportionate number of restaurants. You're talking about 8 times the number of restaurants than you'd have in like San Francisco.
Mhm.
We're only there for a week. I need to hit up. This is my only time in New York since I was like 8 years old, so really that can count. I need to hit up all the best places.
So, like, how do you maximize each meal that you have?
So here's what I do. I know I have lists of recommendations from friends who've been to New York.
Uh-huh.
So I have a Google Doc that has a list of places.
Okay.
I know that I have X number of meals on this trip.
Right.
I'm there for 7 days, 3 meals a day.
He really
times
has
3.
a Google Doc. Just to be
Oh,
clear,
and-
this isn't
and
an
I-
exaggeration.
So I know I have 21 potential meals. I know about 6 of those meals are going to be thrown out because of either morning, we got to get up for a video shoot early, or we're going to be at Maker Faire. So I have maybe 14 to 18 meals.
Okay.
Lock those in to a guaranteed 6 dinner places I need to go to.
Okay.
And then using geolocation, for example, one day we're going to shoot in Brooklyn. Use that to do my checkoff of the Brooklyn places.
Right.
One day we're going to be on the east side by the pier. I'm going to check out some place there.
So that you had a good plan.
Now, what I use then, if I have opportunity, if we're used to using, we're lost somewhere. We're downtown. New York is a big place. I need to find a dinner place now. I go to Yelp, of course. Yelp reviews, Yelp listings are based on 3 criteria. Distance is one criteria. I'm not going to count distance. I'll walk a mile to get to a place. 3 things.
Agreed. I'm down with that so far.
Number of reviews.
Yeah.
The rating.
Yeah.
Stars out of 5,
Yep.
including half stars, and also the price number.
Okay.
Now you always aim for highest rated,
Yep.
right? You want more stars, better.
Yep.
You want low dollar signs is ideally better. You don't want $4 signs. You can't do $4 signs every meal. 1 or 2 is good. And you want highest number of consensus. So, if it's a 500 review place, that's a good consensus. Not like 2-person review. So I'm looking for maybe a 3,000 review place because it's New York City, a 4 or 5 star place, and a $1 sign, and I go straight for those.
Okay. And did it work? Are you happy with
absolutely.
the meals?
It was
that you
pretty
ate?
good.
What was the best meal that you ate in New York City?
Hold
on.
I just want to point out. I want to point out the contradiction in the way you live your life versus
No.
the Yelp approach to New York.
You can describe this, and then I will give you an explanation.
Every part of Norm's life, he lives to get the best and find the hidden secrets and be a dirty hipster. And Norm, how many people have you seen wearing that exact same T-shirt you're wearing right now? Lifetime
0.
Right. What would happen if I came in tomorrow wearing that T-shirt? Would you keep wearing it?
Yeah, just not when I'm with you.
Would you retire that T-shirt?
I would not retire the T-shirt. I wore it first.
What if you were on the bus and there were 4 people wearing that T-shirt?
I would have to reconsider.
Okay. When you went to New York, you went to. Would you say that Yelp is the largest restaurant review site on the internet?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And then you went and looked for the reviews with the most reviews.
Yep. Yep.
And the consensus.
Yep, absolutely. Yes. And you know why?
And hold on.
Okay.
So when we went to the noodle place that you picked with your Yelp populist view.
Yes.
And we went to the one that I went to because the chef is a world-renowned chef and is very good.
Yes, which also was a Yelp populist review.
It was not 3,000 reviews.
Because they're not open for that long.
You filtered out, by choosing only things with more than 2,000 reviews, you filtered out anything that was newer than 2
No. I didn't
years
say
old.
filter it out, but if you're choosing...
You just picked the most popular stuff.
No. 3 criteria. Did you listen to 3 criteria?
I heard the 3 criteria.
If it's 3,000 reviews and it's only 1 star, I'm not going there.
I'm just saying, you picked the stuff that is the most popular.
Think of this.
Gary?
But think about this. Okay, think of this. Most popular among people who enjoy food tremendously.
No. Because the thing is, Yelp
Does everyone who eat at the restaurant write a review?
Yelp doesn't have any difference between you and Jeff Gersman. Jeff Gersman doesn't eat anything that's green.
Right. But does he write Yelp reviews for the nice places?
I have no idea.
He doesn't. So it's not your sample size doesn't work.
What you're saying is it's a fallacy. There's no guarantee.
You're not understanding how Yelp works.
I do understand how Yelp works. People who like Yelp post reviews on Yelp.
If Jeff Gersman only eats a Taco Bell, he's not writing a 5-star review for Momofuku or a 1-star review for Momofuku. He's not writing anything about Momofuku.
My point is, if I'm a tourist and I come from Peoria,
so
my version
how does that affect?
They would give Momofuku, which is a $1 sign restaurant for New York. It's very inexpensive for New York.
It's not a $1 sign.
What I'm saying is, at most 2, they would look at $40 a person and say, "Oh my God, that's $4 signs." If you're from Peoria,
but they didn't write the review.
Sorry, Peoria.
But they didn't. But they did not write the
Tourists
review.
write Yelp reviews, dude. You are basing your entire thing on a faulty populist assumption.
Incredible dining experience.
I just want to know about the food that
I know. I don't understand what we're talking
really
about
good
right
food
now.
all the way
Exactly.
around.
The places I picked were wonderful. I went to Katz's
No.
twice.
You don't understand, Norm. You didn't, in fact, enjoy any of that food
that's
because
right,
you
that's
did
right.
it all wrong.
Okay, it's true. I guess I had the shittiest food in New York.
Yeah.
I should have only went
your
to the
method
places.
was not Will approved.
Only should have went
Therefore,
to the places.
your food was not
No.
satisfying.
Will thought
I
was
just think
worth
it's really
appealing.
funny that Norm is very anti-popular opinion in every other aspect of his life, except for eating in New York.
But for the people who review those restaurants, it is not the popular opinion. The popular opinion would, if it was a poll of everyone who eats at every restaurant, then that would be the popular opinion.
Anyway, carry on.
Fallacy in your thinking. I'm sorry.
And also, I think while Norm does have hipster aspects, in many other aspects, he just has a common sense attitude to, I don't care if it is popular, if it's something I like and want. I mean, he carries an iPhone, for God's sake. Well, that's not exactly it.
That's true.
I mean, that's best-selling phone.
Yeah, it's the single most popular phone. So it's not like he doesn't see
Norm should change
iPhones
to
every day.
Android.
Anyway,
Should be
so
Windows
I want
phone.
to go back to the
Yeah,
what was
so
the
let
best
me
meal
describe.
that you had?
It's
Is this the whole cart?
Everyone's opinion can be different, but I think we can all agree that there were 3 top contenders for the best things we had in New York, and we had many dishes.
Okay.
We had a
One
lot.
was Katz's Deli, the pastrami sandwich.
Oh, you can't go wrong there.
No, it was
And that is definitely a populist.
It's a New York
opinion. It is a new one of the oldest delis in New
but
York.
it's both a
Piled
tourist place
high
and a local
pastrami.
place.
And stop control.
No.
It is a wonderful. I loved it so much. I ate there twice.
You can't go wrong with a good Jewish deli.
We don't have those delis on the
And
West Coast,
a sandwich
unfortunately.
that you get at a place like that is like nothing else. I mean, it's crazy.
Absolutely. It is,
I always
it
get
is
the chopped
meat-
liver sandwich, but it's the same thing.
Well,
It's
and
nuts.
even there more so than other places. Like you can go to there's Carnegie's all up and down the East Coast, and it's good. It's great pastrami, but they do thin sliced on the machine. And at Katz's they do hand slices, so you get nice big thick slices,
thick slice.
which is
It's
overpriced.
It's
magic.
a $17 sandwich.
Worth every
I will
penny.
pay it. It is perfectly
And the pickles.
marbleized
Yeah,
pastrami. Corned
pickles
beef
are
was
so
great.
good.
yeah.
That was amazing. Number 2, Momofuku pork buns.
Okay.
Momofuku is a noodle restaurant.
It's David Chang's restaurant.
David Chang,
one of his restaurants.
He has many restaurants. We ate the noodle bar, and one of the famous things there, is in addition to the ramen, was a pork bun. When you think of a Chinese pork bun, you
I
think
enjoy
of
a good pork bun.
Yeah, it's like pork stuffed in a bun and then steamed.
yeah.
Right? This is not
it's
bad.
usually sealed.
And I
This
always
is-
find that the pork buns disappointing, the ones that are mostly bun and not very much pork.
correct because they want to save costs because bread's
The
cheap.
dough is cheap, yeah.
So this is more of a Peking duck style bun. So you have a Peking duck where it's a open bun.
that I
It is
like.
softer, thinner.
Yes.
It's more fluffy.
Okay.
But in addition to the Peking duck style bun, you also had the hoisin sauce, thin sliced cucumbers, and succulent chashu pork, which you normally have in ramen. And that's the type of fatty pork where it is probably
It's pork belly.
40% fat and 60% meat. But the
sounds
fat is
great.
evenly spaced.
I'm so glad I ate lunch before I came out.
between
Torture
the meat. And so when you bite
miso braised pork belly is
when
what
you
it
bite
is.
into the bun, the juices, the fat spills on both sides of your cheeks.
But the fat just dissolves. It's almost like it's like a globule of fat that just kind of disappears
that
the moment
sounds
it hits
very,
saliva.
very good. Very good.
Unbelievable.
And what else? What was the number 3?
Number 3 was the last day. So I'd done my 21 meals. It was Sunday night. We said we're going to sleep early.
Okay.
Because we had a morning
7 o'clock. We had to leave at 7
We had
to
to
get
leave
to
at
the airport
7
on time.
because it takes a long time to get out of New York. Traffic is going to be bad. You can't really order a taxi.
Yes.
And we had a big lunch. We all did our separate lunches. I had Shake Shack for lunch. Shake Shack is an honorable mention. We don't have the best burger I had in New York was Shake Shack.
It's still fast food. But it was very good.
It was fast
Yeah,
food.
yeah.
It's like our super duper burger. I would trade all the In-N-Outs on the West Coast for one Shake Shack in San Francisco.
I would do that too.
They had a great milkshake, and they also have this. They had 2 innovations. One is that their burger bun, its cheeseburger bun, is closed on the bottom. It looks like a bun,
Like a hot dog.
It looks like a
Right,
bun when
okay.
you're holding it, but on the bottom it's sealed, so the juices from the burger don't spill out. There's no way to squeeze it out; it just gets soaked onto the bottom.
Okay, I like that.
It's also a very,
is-
very soft, delicate bun.
That's very
That is
clever.
innovative.
Yeah.
Second is that their veggie bun, the vegetarian burger, is actually a deep fried portobello mushroom stuffed with Munster and cheddar cheeses.
That sounds fantastic.
It is deep. So when you bite into it, you bite into the deep friedness first, the breading first, then you get the portobello mushroom, which is great. But the cheese oozes out from the side of the stuffing. Now you don't just get you want a cheeseburger. You don't just get the veggie burger. So you get the Shack Stack, which is the cheeseburger with the nice patty and the portobello mushroom.
Holy shit.
Honorable mention.
I did not get that.
Crazy.
Honorable mention.
I had a veggie.
I had that twice
veggie
as
burger.
well.
like
The
the
veggie
Omni
burger
burger.
was good on its own. I had that on a second.
All right, so
visit
what was the
later.
third
So
thing?
we had that for lunch. We were very full, and then late at night on the Sunday night, I went on a halal quest.
All right. I like some
And
halal.
There is a food cart in New York. Now, this one fulfills all the requirements of 3,000 reviews, 4.5 stars, $1 sign, a food cart on 56th and 3rd, or 53rd and 6th, 53rd
Okay.
Street and 6th Avenue,
Okay.
right by Times Square.
Okay.
That gives you for $6 basically a pie tray, a pie tin
Yeah.
Like a 6-inch tray.
Yeah.
Like you'd put shepherd's pie in. Maybe.
filled with shaved lamb, chicken, and rice that was radioactive. It was so orange. It was like perfect Mexican rice, but
Right.
halal rice.
Right.
It was smoked paprika.
That sounds very good.
And a bunch of
And
other
then
stuff. It
on
was
top, a little bit of
unbelievable.
yogurt.
Yep.
The yogurt sauce, the tiki sauce.
yep.
And then also a dash of the spicy sauce because it's so hot.
Yeah.
I think it was sour cream. I don't think it was tzatziki.
Now, I brought that back for Will because Will did not want to go on the halal quest.
Right.
And this is by the time I got back, it was 11 p.m. and it was a lot of food. We're talking about like maybe a pound and a half of halal in each serving. It was described as if God had a part-time job at Taco Bell.
Yeah, that was one of the things I said. I also said it was the best piece of food I put in my mouth that week.
I'm surprised you went all the way to New York and you didn't get a slice. That's the one thing. I
So
always
no,
do.
we had plenty of pizza.
Oh, okay. All right.
We had artichokes pizza, which was a famous.
That was the best pizza we had.
Massive. It took 2 paper plates to hold a slice of pizza.
And it was the kind that
And-
like is,
yeah, that's
is,
the one.
is
You
like,
got to fold it up to eat it.
You have to fold it, but
good
it
New
was
York
firm on the
pizza.
bottom, crispy on the bottom, but still thin enough to
like
fold.
that.
and
I
it was
like
like
that.
and it was like the thing about it is they did the thing that's tricky, which is to make a piece of pizza that is like a half inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch thick, but isn't super greasy, and it's all like one nice layer. It was
That's the
vegetarian
key.
pizza with
Yeah.
artichokes.
So we had that, and that was a
spinach
vegetarian
and all sorts of
artichoke and
stuff.
spinach. We also
Awesome.
had some Neapolitan style pizza.
All right.
Very thin
All right.
with prosciutto.
We had 2 of those actually. One was in Brooklyn. I don't remember what that place was called. It was okay. The one at the Maker Faire was actually quite good.
Yeah, we had Neapolitan at the Maker Faire, and then we also had cheap, honest Joe's Pizza.
It's the famous place
$2 a slice.
in the village.
And it also is the thin, great New York pizza.
They did the thing. It
So
was
yeah,
like,
it sounds like you did it right to me. I like
The
I
other
approve of
noodle
all
place
these
went to 2 noodle
things.
places. One
Yep.
was Momofuku, one was Ippido, New York, which also had a long line. What other places we ate at? We did some normal touristy stuff.
we went to Oliver's. Or no, not Oliver's.
Carmine's.
Carmine's.
But yeah, if you're a New Yorker, yeah.
We had
Well,
a
I'm
lot of
going.
Philly
I'm
food.
going
We,
at the end of next week.
Katz's. You gotta do Katz's.
I think I may go to Katz's.
You gotta do the halal cart
Yeah.
by Times Square. There are 3 carts.
You have to send me these locations. 'Cause I want to check these things out.
He'll just
There's a
share them
trick.
with you on Yelp.
There's a trick. The halal cart, they're fake halal carts
Oh.
that have similar bags and similar signage.
Okay.
But they are not the real halal
So how do you know
cart.
which is the real one?
They have a Facebook page. They're the halal guys. We do it different is their slogan. And they have
Okay.
certain hours.
So
All right.
Don't be fooled. Anthony Bourdain was fooled by the fake halal cart.
Wow.
the thing that blew me away about the halal carts is the kind of escalation and arms race of signage for the halal carts. Because when you're coming in towards Times Square, you'll see like a halal cart with like a little tiny sign that has like a moving text on it, and it's like, oh, halal cart, delicious food, blah blah blah. The closer you get, the bigger the signs get. Until when you get right up at Times Square, then it's like Blade Runner, basically. Like
Yeah.
the signs are like 5 feet high. They have moving pictures.
You're
and
talking
animation
about
and
the
stuff like that.
the neon, not neon signs, the animated
the
digital signs.
Yeah, like the I don't know what it's
Scrolling
called.
marquees.
Scrolling marquee is what it's called. Yeah, it was amazing. It was really fun. We had a
Yeah,
good
I'm
time.
looking. I love New York. Any excuse to go, so I'm looking forward to going next week. I'll be there
after
for a
we
few
talked
days.
about food, we also saw the space shuttle on the USS Intrepid.
Oh yeah, the Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Yep,
We abstained from bad Star Trek jokes.
it was all you could do, wasn't it?
Went to the Museum of
Captain.
Natural History, or Museum of Natural History.
American Museum of Natural History.
Which is, it's the one Holden Caulfield goes in Catcher of the Rye. It's great. It's massive.
I'd never been there before. I had never gone to that before. I don't. It was never on my.
It's
New
a
York
great. It's a great
stops.
city. One of
There's
the great cities.
the Hayden
in the world.
Planetarium's there that
Yep.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is the
Yep.
director of. Oh, in Brooklyn, Wes and I and Joey, we went to the Museum of Moving Image. Highly
That's in
recommended.
Queens, I think.
Queens. Yeah, highly recommended. It celebrates the history and the process of making movies. So you have old cameras from the earliest Edison cameras to the modern day cameras, film projectors, whole projector aisle, old TVs, and memorabilia from a bunch of movies.
That's great.
I went to the Apple store on Fifth Avenue, the Cube. Went
How
down
is
to the
that?
hall. It's
Have you
really
never
big
been
in there.
there?
Have you-
Now the cube is just on
It's-
that's just a cube.
Yeah,
you go
so-
down. The store is actually underneath.
it's really
right?
weird. Like,
Location is on Fifth Avenue. So
Yeah.
it's talking about like
Yeah.
well, it's not even
Saks
that.
Fifth Avenue. It's
I'm
right
actually
on the
surprised-
edge of the park.
I'm surprised you didn't go to the one at Grand Central Station.
I went to that one too.
Oh,
'cause
you
it was
did?
raining.
Okay.
So
And-
I got off the train at Grand Central. I thought, oh, I'll walk up, and then walk out. And it was like pouring rain. So I went in. I was like, I need to buy a lightning cable. Maybe I'll just buy it here. It's a lot easier. That's weird because it's up on the ledges above the train station. So like when you're in the area and all the people are walking around to their trains, and it's mostly tourists. I
It
think.
looks like it shouldn't be allowed to be there. It
Right.
looks like a pop up.
Yeah, it looks like some hobos are selling Apple stuff on like
But
Apple
it is a
authorized tables.
Apple store in
yeah,
the station.
built right into the architecture.
There's
of
no
Grand Central
doors.
Station.
I don't
You
know how
just-
they
you just
close
walk
it
in.
off.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
I mean, is
or
it
is it
24
always
hours?
open? I don't know.
The one in Fifth Avenue is 24 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Boy, that's horrible. Poor,
So yeah,
poor
the one on
bastards.
Fifth Avenue, the cube isn't that big.
It's 20 by 20 by 20 or 30 by 30 by 30. It looked like.
and
Yeah.
But the store itself is underneath
right.
that.
So it's
right?
a cube. It's a spiral staircase,
Yeah.
and it's right on this big plaza, right at the edge of the park, or Central
Yeah.
Park.
Yeah.
And you walk in, tons of people are taking pictures, and it almost looks like you're being descended into.
Was there a
like,
line when you went?
Like maybe you had to wait in like a 3-person queue. It's single file
Hit the
down the stairs.
yeah.
Right.
In the elevator, and you go in, and it's like a bunker. It's like the Bat Bunker.
So when you go in, the store is the size of the whole plaza underneath.
Oh, so it's quite big.
It's
underneath.
enormous.
Right.
It's huge. It's the biggest Apple store I've ever seen. Other than that, it's just like an Apple store. Except for it was so busy that they were like, yeah, if you have the Apple Store app on your phone, you can just scan the barcode and pay from your phone.
I did that. I bought a lightning cable.
And you just
I
walked
went,
in?
and I walk in, and so I've got the Apple Store app. It goes, hello, welcome to the Apple Store.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
That's weird.
So it said, would you like to buy products? I scanned it. It said, you've been brought to your account. I felt like I had shoplifted it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't speak to a single person. But it was all done with my phone. It was brilliant.
I think that
if you
means
if you don't want to feel bad, you can talk to a person, and they give you a bag.
Yes.
Which is the best way to do it.
Yes.
You get a
but
small
no, I
bag.
liked not talking to anyone.
Yeah.
It just took me, it was like so weird to just walk in and just take a product off and just leave.
I literally did that. I walked in, I scanned I got 2 cables, and you can't buy one. You have to buy them one at a time.
Right.
But I was like, I like looked around and kind of put it in my bag.
Yeah, is
It was
this
like,
okay?
do I have to hold it? Do I
But
have
they
to show
made
it to someone?
but the receipt showed up right on my phone. So someone stopped me and say, "Look, there's my receipt."
Yeah. It was
What
pretty
an
amazing.
age we live in. So what do you think? Did you think that the Cube or the Grand Central Station was more
Cube was
impressive?
pretty cool.
Okay.
Like the Cube, but it was raining. And then I went on like
made
a
it
little
cooler,
walk through the
though.
park. Oh yeah, the rain made it awesome. I'll show you my picture.
Do you think this is like a pilgrimage? You know how like in
No, it's not like
in
don't say
Islam-
that. Do not say that.
No, it is.
That is
Don't compare
incredible.
it.
No,
Do not-
no,
I'm gonna stop right there,
Why?
Gary.
No.
Do you-
I'm gonna stop
You
you.
don't, you don't like,
I know
you
you're.
don't,
I
you
know
don't like
you're
where I'm going, do you?
No, you're gonna get us all in trouble. There you go.
That's from inside.
That's from underneath.
That's
yeah.
wonderful. I
Yeah.
love it. All
See?
right.
I've seen that.
That's
yeah,
my good
yeah,
picture.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you cut me off at just the right time then.
Good.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, that was a
yes.
good
Yeah,
talk,
that would
guys.
not go well.
And that'll do it for this week's show.
Start getting more than stickers in the mail.
Don't send that to our office. Gary's house is at. Hold on, let me get the address for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, New York was fun. It's not a pilgrimage to the Apple Store. I felt real dirty going there.
It's
I
just a
only
store.
went because I needed a lightning connector.
Why do you feel dirty going there?
Because I don't.
Because you bought into this mindset that somehow like
No,
going
it's
to Apple is
fucking
like
consumerist
makes you a
bullshit.
You know
dickhead
what
or
was
something?
sad? The Apple Store was so packed, but the Nintendo Store was so empty. The World
Yeah.
Nintendo Store.
We did go there
So
too.
empty.
Well, maybe after Wii U, I'm sure it'll liven up again.
They didn't even have Wii U's out there. You know what they did have at the Nintendo Store that was really cool is the people who work there are Super Nintendo fans, obviously.
No doubt.
And they had all brought in stuff that they'd collected over the years, like Nintendo merch, and like ranging from original Famicom and the cards that Nintendo made in the 50s, the gambling cards.
Yeah.
All the way through like Virtual Boy and all sorts of terrible stuff, and a bunch of like really cool Zelda stuff. I think they were doing like Zelda stuff this month, so they had a ton of awesome Zelda merch, starting with like the first Zelda game and the cartridge. And the Nintendo Power episode. You remember the Nintendo Power with the fold-out map of Hyrule?
I think so,
Yeah, they had that. It was cool. It was like that was the best part of the store.
but not very well trafficked.
There were like 6 people and some kids in the Pokemon section. It was a
But,
bunch of
you know,
sad
it's,
old.
you know,
dudes.
it's end of life for the current Nintendo generation. The Wii U will come out. I'm sure it'll pick up again.
It
I
felt-
can't get it. Wii U's are all pre-ordered out. You can't get them.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to go wait in line.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. No, I learned my lesson on the Wii. I'm not doing that again. But I will get one eventually.
Yeah, we don't have a Wii.
That was
do
New
we?
York. Yeah.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else did we do in New York? I feel like we did.
We had
Walking
a
around-
good Airbnb experience.
Oh yeah, we should talk about Airbnb. So Airbnb, if you don't know, is a thing that you can, it's like, it basically connects people who have places that they like to rent to human beings with people who want to rent apartments. And because
Oh, right. I've
like,
heard about this.
they do basically, they hook into your Facebook and stuff like that, so you can show that you're connecting to a real person. There are user reviews, which is important for this because you want to make sure you're not going someplace that you know there's rats or cockroaches or bed bugs or something. And we found a great place. It had enough room to sleep all of us. 2 bathrooms, which is important when there's a bunch of dudes in a place. And it was fantastic. It was like Upper West Side, a block and a half from the train station. They gave us all sorts of good information about like what the local restaurants were that we should go to and which ones we should avoid. And it was a really great experience.
All right, cool.
Also, I love New York blocks. I love that they're so short going north and
No,
south
some blocks are short, some blocks are long.
because it really feels like you're moving fast.
Yeah.
Walking our blocks here is like a death march every
a lot of
quarter
dogs
mile.
too. Central Park.
And I just, I'm never there for very long, and I don't go very often, but when I go there, I just always find walking around New York just a joy. Like
It's
I
just
love
fun.
walking. It's just a great city to walk around.
Well, the neat thing about Airbnb is it kind of lets you feel, even though you're a dirty tourist, it kind of lets you feel like it's like rental loaner clothes, right? Because you're instead of going back to a hotel where it's thank you, Mr. Smith, thank you, Mr. Chan. It's you go, you have a kitchen, you can get food, you can go to Dunkin' Donuts down the street, all that
Lots
stuff.
of Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh yes.
was good.
Oh, it may have to be a 3-day diet vacation for me coming up.
Yeah.
Let's eat some good New York food.
The other thing was it was much cheaper than a hotel would have been for the same amount of time for us.
Right.
So it let us stay longer than we would have been able to otherwise.
Okay.
Gary, you have on this list Mount Tech.
Are we doing what we're testing right now?
This is what we're testing.
Okay. When did we go into what we're testing?
When I played the music about 30 minutes ago.
But we haven't talked about anything that we've tested.
We talked about Passbook, and we talked about printing with PLA and Maker Faire.
Oh, okay. Then it all kind of turned into
And then
fake
Norm
outtakes.
started
It's a
talking
little
about
bit weird.
food.
Tested on food.
So Mount Tech.
Yelp.
So I guess
It's an iPhone holder.
You asked me what I've been testing. Yeah, so I wanted to get a car dash mount, and the way that my dash in my car is organized, same as yours. There's not a lot of space to like put on a sucker pad or something,
You
and
put it on the windshield if you're
so
gonna
they
do
make
that.
ones that fit onto your vent, your air vent, and they clamp on. But I found this other thing that I thought was really good, and I highly recommend it. I've been using it enough the last week, and I love it. And it's a really clever idea. What it does is it fits into your CD player slot, because who uses that anymore? Nobody plays CDs in the car anymore.
Hey, I have a Nine Inch Nails album from like 4 years ago in there.
So this thing slots in, and then you tighten a little screw, and it kind of like expands inside the CD slot so that it doesn't fall out.
Does it fuck up the CD player?
No.
Okay.
You do it. I guess it would if you kept tightening it, but you just find it so it's just tight enough so that it's snug. And then there's a nice little foam rubber clamp that your phone goes in. And I thought it was great. And it's just go to mountek.com. It's MOUNTEK.
Okay.
And I think they only sell this one product, but it's great. I highly recommend it.
I will check it
So
out.
I tested it thoroughly, and I've been very happy
You
with
enjoy it.
And it fits the clamp fits the iPhone 5 as well as it would any other phone. So
Great. And it just like squeezes onto it.
yeah, it just can.
So does this
Just
mean
ratchets on.
Does this mean you've been using Apple Maps?
I have been using Apple Maps, and
There's some controversy there.
there's a lot of controversy. And I understand that a lot of people are very unhappy with Apple Maps.
We didn't talk about that.
It does sound very much like Apple made a mistake,
And they apologized.
and for which they apologized.
Contritely even.
And it does sound like between that and the whole removal of other Google services like YouTube and stuff, it's very just politically wrong decision to kind of put their own corporate long-term interests in over the short-term interests of consumers, which they just want their apps
Which a
to
report
work.
came out that Steve Jobs had thought about taking Google search out of Safari as a default
Right,
search, but
right.
didn't want to do that because consumers were
Well,
revolted.
Apple and Google are at war, as Apple are and many other companies. And the problem, unfortunately, the consumers were the casualties of this particular blow.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for the most part, it sounds like Apple
Fucked up really
the
bad.
maps weren't ready.
Okay, well, there's the argument that they had no choice. That there are three possible things Apple could do, because we all know that based on the reports, there was potentially a year left on the contract.
Right.
And the current terms of the deal, as it was before they removed maps between Google and Apple, was that Google provide the back end for Apple to use certain things, tap into maps, so not get vector maps, not get turn-by-turn directions, which Apple wanted. So either they could, one, stay with Google and not have those key features, the vector maps, which have been proven to use much less data than the rasterized.
Well, it's not
maps.
that they use much data as much as that they're a lot faster to load.
They're faster
That's
to
the
load,
benefit.
and also they cache better.
Yeah.
because you're not re-downloading.
Smaller
Yeah,
to cache.
it's smaller. Yes, exactly. And also, but no turn-by-turn directions, which was the big thing. That was a clear disadvantage for iOS compared to
And they
Android,
had
which
to-
is
they had to deal
still
with
has the better turn-by-turn directions. They could have stayed with them. They could have, two, extended the contract with Google's terms, and the reports were that Google wanted much more demanding, favorable terms for that.
They wanted to be able to display ads in iOS.
Display
as maps.
ads and do, or the third option was to tear off the Band-Aid, cut the cord, and go with a map platform that they had invested in because they had bought those 3D rendered
I
services.
think that's just two options.
No, they'd run it out for one more year,
Yeah.
extend it,
Okay.
or cut off right now. And they chose 3, which is to cut it off right now.
Right. And in doing so, a lot of people have got caught in the switches, and they get it. Having said all this, I have been using it as my in-car GPS for the last week, and I guess it's fortunate that I live in a major metropolitan area that is very well mapped. I mean, we're only about 50 miles from Apple's headquarters, so it can't be that bad. And it's actually been flawless.
It's much
I will
better
tell
here
you-
than it was in New York.
Where is flawless? And the reason I can explain.
We
when
talked
you're
about this a
here,
little bit last week, didn't we?
when you're in a city that you're familiar with, you're putting in addresses that you're familiar with. You're not searching for things.
No,
What
that's exactly what I've been doing. This morning, Siri, direct me to the Lego store. Boom.
You don't just drive to the Lego store?
Well, I do, but I don't remember exactly how to get there because I don't.
Good God, man.
Because that is where I find maps
This
is the most
so
failing.
so to get here,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what your actual street address was, and so I said, direct me to the name of the restaurant that's right next door to you guys, and it found it instantly. Pressed the button, gone.
You know, if you had
And
our
I
address
remember,
in-
I've been struggling with like a 5-year-old Garmin unit where you would type in the
Street
location
address,
with your
yeah.
shitty touch screen, and it would take 5 minutes to find it, and it was so slow. It was constantly recalculating. I fucking hated that thing. This is infinitely better than that.
I found that if I am off in the location of the place, the name of the place, it will just say not found rather
Yeah.
than give me a suggestion because it cannot tap into that all the error correction, all that stuff that Google has kind of perfected.
Right.
Well, so yes, if you type in the street address, it's usually okay. If you say, hey, if you say, hey, take me to Gary's house, and my contact information for you is up to date and correct,
Yep.
it's usually
I can
pretty
say
good.
take me home, and it knows where I live.
You're
Takes
right,
me home.
Correct. If I say, take me to, American Natural History Museum and not say Museum of Natural History,
Right.
it will get confusing and can't find it. And
Right. So that does
I'll
happen.
be lost.
Yeah.
As opposed to Google, which because it's tied to its database of real web searches, can try to make a predictive correction.
So Apple's got a long way to go. But I don't think it's. I mean, I think there's obviously also a very popular meme in the media where they love to swoop on any mistake Apple makes.
Or anyone, frankly, when Google had the privacy stuff a couple of years ago.
I think
people
Apple more so than
swooped on
most,
that.
but yes, absolutely. And I can only go. I'm sure lots of people have been very frustrated with it, and clearly Apple fucked up. And I wouldn't want to be working in Apple's Maps department right now. From what I understand, they're all on lockdown to fucking fix this thing.
Well, it's not a problem they can easily fix because the data just isn't there. They're tapping into TomTom data, which a lot of it just isn't updated as well as Google, and they don't have all that backend. It's all about data.
Right.
A lot of people say that over time, based on usage, it'll get better. There's argument that people have stopped using maps, relied on it as much. Maybe I wouldn't say stop using, but maybe stop relying on it.
Yeah.
As opposed, I'm finding like when I was in New York, instead of using maps, I would be on my computer, do maps.google,
Right.
find the maps on my laptop, and then go out.
Send it to mobile to phone.
Well,
it.
and of course,
Phone
this is of course even before we even talk about losing the transit directions, which is a huge part of why people are unhappy.
Yes.
I mean, it's a tremendous example of like Apple's embarrassment. There's when you go to the App Store now, they have a huge section of like, here are all the other map apps you can download, which is our way of admitting that you may not like our one very much.
The big winner here has been Bing, it seems like, because the Bing Maps app is quite good.
God, how
I've
often
been
do you hear
using it. Well, Bing is in a weird spot. It's always been pretty good, but why would you use it? Because the other thing is comfortable and familiar, and all your shit's already hooked into it, and it does what you need it to do.
Yeah.
I've been using Bing Maps on my phone. It's been great.
So I mean, just on a bigger level, we've all been testing the new phone. How are you liking it on a macro, on an overview level?
Well, so we've been back for a couple of days now. We're recording this on Wednesday. We got back on Monday. I feel like when we were in New York, we were probably using the phone. I was using the phone definitely much more than I normally do.
Did you find that you benefited from your carrier switch to Verizon?
Oh, absolutely.
How could you say you benefited if you didn't you've never used AT&T in New York?
No. I mean, when I was here, I feel like I've had much better. Like I was on the phone the entire way driving into work today, and it didn't drop the call.
Right.
Hey, that's a huge.
I know.
difference.
And when you're on AT&T, it's like magic. Oh my god, that call completed.
I was on the call for 5 minutes.
How do they do that?
It's magical.
Yeah.
I've had one drop call, and I was in New York on AT&T in a cab ride.
Okay.
LTE is fast on both services.
Yeah, LTE is magic.
I've got to cancel my contract on my MiFi because the LTE in the iPhone is faster than my Verizon MiFi, even though it's the same network. It's got to be a faster chip or something.
It's just a newer chipset. Yeah. The ability to tether. I mean, I used it twice. One time was purely optional. I just was like, fuck yeah, I can tether right now. I'm going to do that.
Why not?
The other time was a lifesaver. We were getting spammed on the forums. I needed to get on and tell Andy and the top men, hey, we need help.
Right.
And texting wasn't cutting it, so I hopped in IRC and shit got fixed.
Awesome.
It was really good. That regard, it's worth the changeover. I've used so far, Gina and I combined, both of us got new phones. We both switched to Verizon. Have used combined about 2.5 gigabytes of data.
And because you're on the shared pool of data now.
Shared pool of 8 gigs. Since I got home.
Do they give you a breakdown of device by device so you can see who's using more?
Not right now.
That would be a good idea.
Well, you theoretically should be able to do that on look at the device, but because
Right.
of the profile thing, that was a little jacked up.
Okay.
The LTE, the difference in using LTE and 3G has been astounding. Like if I don't turn on, if I forget to turn Wi-Fi on because I had it off for whatever reason, I get home, I don't notice that I'm not on real internet.
Right.
When I'm using the phone.
Yeah, it's pretty astounding.
And it's not just throughput, it's also latency. Latency feels
it's
a
just
ton
shockingly fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing isn't the
This is
biggest
nothing
screen.
new.
It's
No,
the
I mean,
the
again,
thinness-
people have had 4G phones for ages and known
yes,
this.
and now we're finally getting that on iOS. It's
Right.
on an iPhone.
Right.
It's how light the phone is compared to the last phone.
That is America. The 4 and the 4S now just it seems like a fucking cinder block to me now. It's amazing how much your attitude changes.
You know, one thing I really love the look of the black one. I kind of miss the metal band.
I think the white one is the nicest white phone they've ever made, and I was
And,
really
you know-
went back and forth as usual.
And
But I'm
even-
happy with the kind of the stealth fighter whatever look of the black one. It's
obelisk.
pretty cool. Yeah,
The
it's just none more black.
the design of the 4 and the 4S
Can I see your
is going
black
to
phone,
stand the
Norm?
test of time, I think, as a really iconic piece of consumer electronic design.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it was kind of inspired by the Leica look or something, right?
Yeah.
But I like the chamfers of the new phone, but the metal band, and double-sided glass.
It is iconic.
is-
Yes, we like that
Yeah,
design.
it's something special.
Yeah.
I don't know if the new phone design is something special yet. It looks nice. It looks great. The blacks are really nice. The
It is
screen
pretty
wonderful.
miraculous how thin and light they've made it.
I
this
really
time.
like
mean,
the
it's
black
nutty.
better than the white.
I like the silver banding on the back.
I do like
and
the
white
silver
one is
band
really
on the
nice.
back. I don't
Anyway,
know.
this
I was
is
thinking about
This is
changing.
kind of lame. What do you want to
Yeah.
talk about? What
So
else?
one thing I don't like is
Yeah.
the new lightning connector. I love that it's,
I do.
it's
I like it.
reversible.
Yeah,
That's fine.
love that.
The problem I have is that none of my old playback stuff will work with it. So
you
when
think
I'm in the
that's-
car, I can't play
Now,
music.
Here's a question. Do you think, and this is something they could have done, do you think they should have given out one extra lightning cable? Or maybe have a redemption
It
program?
occurred to me the other day that if my lightning cable broke, I was basically fucked, or I lost it. I was
That's
fucked.
why I went and
'Cause
bought two
couldn't.
more.
Well, I couldn't. But there was a while there where you couldn't even get the replacement right away.
Like 3 days.
Yeah.
I think what they should have done is have the option, put out an understanding, okay, we're going to include one lightning cable.
Yeah.
That's going to be enough for some people. Maybe if
Yeah.
it's their first iPhone, enough.
Yeah.
But if you really need one, you can send in your old 30 pin and they'll replace
Well,
it.
Here's the thing.
Well, the thing, you know what I would have put in the box instead of a second lightning cable is the adapter.
Right,
That
that's it.
they would have got a lot more goodwill from that because then suddenly all
But
your
the
other
adapter is
cables would be good.
expensive because they have the
I
jack
don't
and
care.
the adapter.
That's great.
Apple can afford it.
Here's the thing. They let people check out anything that they put on the shelf that you can just take off the shelf and walk out the store with that pay yourself business.
Please don't steal.
They care. They clearly they make enough margin on that stuff. They don't care if you shoplift it.
Please don't steal.
No, I'm not saying steal. I'm just saying they wouldn't make that an option if they didn't think, people if they thought they were going to lose money. on it.
I guess so. I mean, there's no alarm that goes off or anything. So
Right. Here, I think that they should have put the stumpy 30 pin to lightning adapter in for
I agree. They
car
would
players
have
and
got.
docks.
I mean,
Maybe
there's been a fair amount of bad
maybe not in
press.
the box, but maybe if you type in your serial number, go on the website, they'll mail you one.
Whatever.
So it's optional.
Yes.
Samsung piled on. I mean, again, people look for any opportunity to criticize, and so I think putting that in the box would have stemmed
Samsung is
off a
going
lot
to
of
jump
that
on
criticism.
anything now.
But I
these days.
love the fact that the polarity of the thing works either way. I like that it's smaller and just.
That's really nice. The thin cable has completely messed up my cable management stuff because it doesn't hold in
But
place
yeah,
very well.
until the adapter comes out, my great little dot connector that sound used to get piped through in
Yeah.
the car, I've had to go back to using the headphone jack.
So it's interesting. I've been using this thing that Norm and I tested like 2 years ago, the Micus Mini Jack RX. It's a little Bluetooth dongle. It uses A2DP. And you basically plug it into the aux in port and give it power from a mini USB. And then it just shows up like AirPlay as another way you can play.
And
the
is
neat
sound
thing-
quality good too,
Sound quality
then?
is fantastic.
Okay.
The neat thing about it is it has a button on it that you use to pair, but also if you get in the car, you hit the button, it just starts playing whatever you were playing last.
Oh, it's great.
So it's fantastic. Apple's implementation of A2DP wasn't very good before, and they seem to have fixed it. I
Maybe
think
I'll look
probably
into that.
along
That's
with the
cool as
AirPlay
well.
stuff.
Like, fewer cables, the better.
And that thing's like $35 or something like
Okay.
that. So it's called the Blue Bridge mini jack.
All right, I'll look into it.
So yeah, that's that. Gary, you got your Paperwhite. Mine hasn't come yet.
I was frustrated because it was supposed to come yesterday. It came today, but I'm very happy with it. Funnily, it's perfect timing because I just started to get back into my Kindle and reading more recently. I had the most recent one, the
non-touch,
the basic $79 non-touch, and I got the lighted case for it because I like to read sometimes at night.
$60.
I know, it's crazy. But I got to tell you, just recently, I noticed that when I'm trying to read at night, that light, it's too bright. It's distracting if someone else is in the room with you and they're trying to sleep.
It's not adjustable.
So the new lighted screen on the Paperwhite, as you saw, we played around with it a little bit. It's really a great implementation. It's not 100% perfect. There is a little, you can see kind of the light source at the bottom of the page if you're looking really hard, but it's so much better than I think the Nook lighted version.
Have you seen the Nook?
Yeah, I played with it in a Barnes & Noble store.
The most striking thing is how quick the chip is now for e-ink refresh.
That kind of black and white flash when a page turned has always been distracting to me. It's still there, but it's much quicker than it used to be. And I'm also really, really impressed by the responsiveness of the touchscreen. Yeah, very responsive.
So the touch screen feels a little bit more responsive than the touch. I'd have to do side by side. Mine should be waiting for me when I get home.
Yeah.
The light. There's two things that are immediately noticeable. First off, the screen, the white to black contrast of the e-ink is much better than the last version.
Better resolution on fonts as well, sharper resolution.
Actually, there's more. I think the fonts are less noticeable to normal people. You probably are a little more sensitive to it because of your print background.
Yeah, as you can see, that's super responsive.
Oh my goodness!
Right,
that scroll bar for light.
The depth of the screen from the bezel is significantly reduced. It uses an infrared touch device rather than a capacitive touch screen or a resistive touch screen. So it's much less reduced. That's good because that area collected a bunch of like skin and hair and just dust and stuff.
And I thought I would miss having clicky buttons to turn pages, but in fact, I don't miss it at all.
I still miss clicky buttons to turn pages, and the only reason is because it's not capacitive touch. If anything hits it, like you say you're reading in bed, you drowse off, and your thumb or finger or corner of a pillow or something hit the screen, you can blast through 50 or 60 pages real fast.
But I used to have that problem with the buttons as well, because the buttons were basically where my thumb was on the bezel. I would occasionally scroll through pages, and now my finger actually has to be on the page for it to happen. So
it's a software problem they should be able to fix. They should see if you're fast forwarding through 50 pages, you should just turn off.
I think the Kindle from the first generation has always been a great product. I think with this one, particularly with the Paperwhite,
the e-ink Kindles,
it's genuinely difficult to imagine like how they could make this much better. Like as just a thing to read books, it's like as close to perfect as you could imagine. Like I don't know how they continue to iterate this.
I was going to say the other thing that they changed that's awesome is the backlight is adjustable now. So on the third part on the case, you couldn't adjust the light down. You couldn't make it dimmer, which was my big problem.
And
with
it was
case.
Bright. It was really bright.
It's old person reading bright.
Yeah. So now you have 24 different light settings. So you can find there's just enough light to read, but not enough that you might distract someone else or strain your own eyes.
That's a problem they fixed on the Kindle Fire too, because the first gen Fires you couldn't make anywhere near dim enough.
Oh,
it's a problem with the Nexus 7.
Not only is it brighter, it changes the color tone, so it's a cooler reading experience.
Right.
Like cooler, like light is blue.
Oh, that's cool.
As opposed to being
it's like having F-Lux.
Yeah, it was pretty blue. No, F-Lux goes warm.
This actually makes it cooler. I think much
cooler. You're talking about temperature cooler.
Temperature cool, color temperature cool.
Right.
I think normally under fluorescent light, it's going to be warmer, or outdoor sunlight also.
I don't think that. Oh, okay, whatever.
Well, I'm very happy with it. I think the lighted screen really obviously is the big feature this year, and I think it's tremendous. I've always liked the Kindle.
And Gary,
this is by far the best.
You
one
asked
they've
where
ever made.
you thought they could improve it. You could imagine maybe in 2 or 3 years from now, maybe a Kindle that you don't have to charge for a year.
Yeah, I mean, I think basically it's hard to imagine like what big new feature they would bring to it. The lighted screen is really the big new feature. They've got a great iteration of that technology, and so now it'll continue to get cheaper and lighter and faster
and longer battery
life. Each feature that they have will just incrementally improve.
Well,
but I don't think
they're gonna go.
It's evolution at this point.
Eventually, they're gonna switch to a color e-ink, long battery life.
Color
e-ink
will be great, and that'll be great for reading. People who already like to read comics and magazines, that'll be more viable.
And that's gonna start with low DPI and go with brighter and higher DPI.
I love e-ink. What a great technology!
It's fantastic. I mean, I like using that to read.
And it's such a simple thing. Like we take the cloud for granted these days, but I occasionally will, like I'm reading Cloud Atlas right now, and sometimes I don't have my Kindle with me, I'll just read it on my phone, and I love reading it, coming home, picking up my other Kindle, and it just knows where I left off. Like, it's one of those little things that just seems like magic, even though you know how it works.
Like if you just read laying in bed at night, it's no big deal. You'll never notice it and probably won't care.
Right.
If you ride the train or the bus and you have time to read in the morning, it is amazing.
Totally.
I mean, we were on the train for 45 minutes.
This thing out of the box already is set up for me. Like it knows what books I own, and it's just great. Amazon are very, very, very good at this.
They're quite clever.
Yeah.
I've been testing the Fitbit Zip the last couple of days. It's in my jeans watch pocket. What
is this thing?
It's you know what the Fitbit
The new
is,
Fitbit.
right?
It's a pedometer.
Well, this is the.
Oh, is this why you posted your weight the other day?
No, that's something different.
That's weight
That's
quest.
that's 200 pounds or bust.
Well, that's really small.
So this is a Fitbit Zip. It's not like the old Fitbit that was a kind of a little clip-on thing. It needed recharging frequently. This uses the new Bluetooth low power protocols. So stuff that was in the iPhone 4S or newer and newer Android phones as well. It uses a CR123 watch battery, and it supposedly stays charged for like 6 months off of one battery. So
and this is what it's tracking your activity levels.
It's literally a pedometer accelerometer basically.
Okay.
So it tells you how many steps you've walked, how far you've walked. I just started the app on my phone, and it told me I've walked 2,041 steps as of 5:32 p.m.
And what type of connection?
Bluetooth.
Okay.
I think it's
just like the
it
Nike.
may also be Wi-Fi. I'm not sure. But the difference is literally one two batteries a year
Great.
versus
Put that in your
charging it
pocket?
every day. I've been keeping my watch pocket in my jeans. It also has a little
Finally,
silicone sleeve that you can clip on. They recommend for women putting it in like center of a bra strap. You can also put on your belt if you want.
All right.
I think it's pretty cool. And it tells you how far you. It's all.
no,
the normal
I am looking
stuff.
at your Fitbit.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's inside the clothes, Norm. is the
I can
idea.
see your Fitbit.
That's right. What's that? Is that a green thing? Pardon me. What else have we been testing?
So speaking of Fitbits, we have 2 digital scales. Now that we're back from New York, now that we have eaten a lot and gained pounds.
How much weight did you gain in New York?
I gained 1.8 pounds.
I gained 2.2 pounds.
That's not bad for the way you were eating.
We walked
a lot too.
Yeah, that's true. You kind of balance it out.
I think before OCTOBERKAST, starting this weekend, we will start tweeting our weights.
I've already started tweeting my weight.
I'm going to start tweeting my weight this weekend, at least once a day, and I want to know because I have the digital scale set up in my room right now, and every time I see it, I'm tempted to step on it. Of course, there are times a day where you're more tempted than others.
Yeah.
Do you ever?
You shouldn't fall into the trap of weighing yourself too frequently.
No.
Well, that's what I want to see. I want to see like what is the temptation?
So
does tweeting your weight, does forcing yourself to tweet your weight,
You
does
have
that
hardwood,
change your
right?
mindset? I have hardwood.
Okay. Yeah, because that scale doesn't work very well on carpet.
Correct.
So what I did, I was really clever. I said, "Oh, we're getting ready to go to New York, so that I don't eat so much and get real fat while we're in New York, I will set up Withings to automatically tweet my weight when I get on the scale when I get back."
Yeah, I noticed. I saw your tweet.
Immediately forgot. Like the moment I did that, I forgot that I had done it. I was eating the whole time. I got back. I was like, "Oh, let's see how much weight I gained while I was in New York." And then maybe 20 minutes after that, it posted the tweet, and my fucking phone exploded. Because everybody I follow responded. People were really nice. I was expecting to get some internet hate and trollery, but I didn't get any bad comments, even though I'm kind of a lord ass.
What did the tweet say? Like, "Hi, I'm Withings. I'm Will's Withings scale."
Well, it's
Will, I am bearing the load of 200 pounds.
I kind of
right
guessed
now.
it was from a device or something because it read very much like an automated post.
It was not a good tweet. I've since edited the text. I think that I started to edit it and maybe didn't finish because I was in a hurry to leave or something. But the tweet said
it was like your current weight and the weight you want to get to. Right?
So this is one of the things that the software doesn't do a good job with. It doesn't explain what the format is. It says my weight, 225.6 pounds, 25.7 pounds to go, is what I weigh. So it gives you a place to customize the message, but it doesn't tell you what the message is going to be before or after that.
Right.
And so the is what I weigh, at least according to the scale, is what I put in, and then it at the end puts the URL for the scale, which was a little bit weird as well.
Shady.
But it'll weigh me every time I stand on it. So now it's a source of fear in my living room.
As every scale should do, weigh you every time you
I
stand
put a
on it.
couple of pounds back on. I'm trying to get back down to where I want to be. So I'm trying to arrest. You know, I had obviously lost a lot of weight, was very happy, and then started to get a bit complacent, put a couple of pounds back
got
on.
some
So I'm trying
other
to
stuff
kind of
cooking.
correct
Do we
that.
have a hashtag we want to affiliate with this?
Weight
This
Quest, pound weight quest,
It's something clever. I don't want
pound quest,
Pound-
pound quest, hashtag pound quest. It's funny because it's the pound sign. The
I don't know.
little hashtag is a pound.
Pound for pound.
Hashtag.
Pound for pounds.
No, that's terrible. We'll think about it and tweet it.
Well, we're taking suggestions right now.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Take
Well, you're not trying to lose any weight, are you?
I could always lose weight. The thing is, it doesn't tell you what your distribution is.
Yeah,
Like,
it does.
Well, it doesn't tell you where the weight is.
It tells you what your fat percentage is based on your height, theoretically. The Withings one, actually, if you step on it barefoot, actually does some electrical shit to your legs or something. I don't know how it works exactly.
I don't want any electrical shit done to my legs.
I've been testing the Cone 3.0, the Able Brewing Cone.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome. You should buy it. It's really good.
I'm totally sold on the whole black coffee thing now. You got me on that. I will occasionally. Let's not do that again. I occasionally. Okay, that's better. I occasionally will put a little bit of creamer in, but more often than not, I'll just keep it.
If you do a bad job, put the creamer in. That's what I do.
Did I talk about this last week when I discovered why we have cars with mustaches on them in the city?
No, we didn't talk about it. But
So, in San Francisco, Gary, I don't know if you noticed this, but if you're walking, you don't go outside, so maybe you haven't
I saw one this morning.
But increasingly, there are cars, sedans, normal cars driving around San Francisco.
I have seen that
with
on the internet. I don't have to go outside to see this stuff.
The ugly pink mustache.
Yeah.
It's almost like it wants to be like a Labbit, like a Frank Kozik Labbit, like
it's real weird
vinyl doll thing. It's a fluffy mustache put in front of tied to the grill of a car.
Yeah, what's that about? Is it a charity thing?
I thought it was like some tchotchke thing, like a terrible fad. It turns out it is a car sharing service,
ride sharing,
ride sharing. So where public citizens could sign up to be drivers, and you get the mustache put in your car, and like Uber. People can use an app to request a ride.
Hold on.
And you're driving around downtown, and you get a push message. Oh, someone wants a ride from here to here. And if you're gracious enough, you can accept.
Do you pay?
And you are tipped.
Yeah, I won't be participating.
I also
hold on. Wait. But wait. I want to get a pink mustache.
No, you don't.
That just
for the wall.
What's this app called? Get Murdered?
This is like the casual carpool across the Bay Bridge. That always seems like a terrible idea.
Letting random strangers into my car?
Exactly. Or the other way around. I don't want to get into a random stranger's car, especially some dude with the pink mustache in his car.
We're not doing this.
It's a mustache ride. I do not. No thanks. No.
Is it free?
Very good.
That's a
very
pink
good.
mustache.
You've been thinking about that for a week, haven't you? Gordon used to do the casual carpool thing to avoid having to pay toll going across the Bay Bridge.
Get a Katsumi. Get an inflatable doll.
Mophie Power Station. I bought one of those before we went to New York because I was worried the battery wouldn't hold. And I figured the place we don't want to die is when we don't know how to get anywhere without phones.
Yeah.
That was a good buy.
I'm waiting for the Mophie juice pack for the 5, although there's a story going around that Apple is really, really going to be very strict about.
That is absolutely true.
Very strict about who they're going to authorize to build Lightning accessories. So that could be that's everything from speaker docks to cables to power to battery cases. So it sounds like it's going to be, and apparently as yet they haven't.
There's hardly any real cases, yeah.
So it's going to be a while before Lightning compatible speaker docks and other accessories are going to be available.
Wait for the Thor accessory.
The Power Station 4700 is basically just a little battery with a couple USB ports. One is a mini small one that you use to charge it. Yeah. The other is just a USB normal plug that you can plug any cable in. Yeah. So it charges anything.
I was really close to buying the juice pack for the 4S, and now I've got to wait quite a while for them to come up with this new one.
Well, so what I'm telling you is that this does an iPad charge of the 5. So it gives you the turbo charge like you get off of the 1 watt power brick.
But you still need an adapter to make it.
You just carry your cable.
Right.
Just the same as I have my cable with me everywhere.
Oh, I see. So it's just USB?
You just plug a USB plug in.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, and then it charged half of my battery in about 20 minutes in my bag.
All right.
It was really good.
It's nice to have that peace of mind when you're on the road and away from a power source to have that extra battery in your pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've been testing the perfect tortilla pan.
Yeah, I got suckered into another.
You buy a lot of dumb shit on SC.
Well, I was very happy with the old Brooklyn Lantern. It served me well. So I kind of feel like I might be in like a nice little zone of having luck with our Seen on TV products.
When you walk Huey at night, do you take the old Brooklyn Lantern with you? Or you're like holding it up.
I have considered that.
As a maker, you should create a stick. You should hold.
I can make a stick for you.
I have considered that. But no, I was in Walgreens yesterday filling a prescription.
As people are want to
and
do.
They have the Seen on TV products right there. And I saw it advertised perfect tortilla pan, and it's basically a little pan.
Did you do any research? Did you go look at the website?
The research was it's $10. So if it's no good, who gives a shit?
Hold on, I have something prepared special. Hold on, wait for it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all we need.
Right. So I got it, and there's 4 little metal pans. You've
Okay.
you've seen like a taco salad, right? That comes
Yeah.
like in the kind of the bowl that's made out of a taco shell.
Yep.
Well, it makes those. You take your tortilla, your Mission tortilla, or whatever you've bought.
Okay.
Stick it in the pan. Put that in the oven for
And it
5
crisps
minutes.
it up.
And it crisps it up, and it
You
holds
put
its
oil
shape.
in there or anything
No,
like
no
that?
oil or anything. Falls right out of the pan. And
amazing.
so for lunch today, we made little taco balls. And it
Taco
was great.
salads.
Yeah, terrific. Highly recommended. Perfect tortilla pan.
We used your old Brooklyn Lantern when we were in the line for the iPhone 5.
We didn't really need it, but it was nice to have it.
Yeah, they had street lamps.
Yeah.
But we had that peace of mind for when the street lamps
But
went
there was
out.
a time, though, when the lights went out, and we did use the old Brooklyn lantern.
I thought about asking if I could use it to use the portalette, but I decided not to.
Yeah.
Thought
I
that
use
might
it.
be
I use it
awkward.
for late night baby feedings.
There you go. Perfect. It's what everybody needs.
Yeah.
I think that's it for what we've been testing. Norm, anything else for you?
No, that's it.
How's your envelope status? Check
I'm
in.
done. I'm done. I have a
55?
big
Good
stack.
job.
I have a big stack of stickers.
Hey, nice job. That's a lot of mail to send out to fine tested readers everywhere. Let's
What else? Because I got to get out of here soon.
yeah, I think we're gonna skip questions this week because we don't have any.
I have one question
That's a
here
good reason
written
to skip them.
Oh,
from
I have one actually. I take it back.
Hey, Will Norm, thanks for the free stickers. No problem. A podcast question. How has the transition been between hosting your own videos and using YouTube?
Oh, that's a good question.
I know Will has mentioned copyright issues. Thanks. James in Shakopee? Hometown, Shakopee. Sorry, Shakopee.
All right.
My,
Does he give you
hometown
pronunciation?
trivia. Yeah, he does include pronunciation. My town is the home of a women's prison. It does not have a fence.
Wow. Trusting. It's like the Apple Store. Okay, so switching from hosting our own videos to hosting them on YouTube, we save a ton of money every month because hosting our own videos was phenomenally expensive. There are some quirks with YouTube. The video quality I don't think is as good. I think their player is probably much better than what we were able to do on our own, even like licensing some expensive other players.
Yeah.
We've lost the ability to do apps like the Roku app and the Boxy app and those
That's a
kinds of
bummer.
things, which is a bummer.
But obviously, if your device supports YouTube, then you just get it through that.
That is the other thing. Apple TV, iPads, Boxy, all sorts of stuff supports
Yeah,
YouTube.
just add it to your favorites or your subscriptions, and you'll come right up.
That's exactly right. There are a couple of other big downsides. The copyright issue is a real problem.
Now, what is that issue?
So there's anti-copyright bots that troll YouTube. Basically, I mean they don't troll; they're official
Monitor.
and they monitor for unauthorized content. That can be video, audio. I don't think they do stills. We haven't had anything like that pop up. But the problem comes when a lot of people claim ownership over royalty-free music sound libraries. So, for example, we bought a license to use some royalty-free music on our videos 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
The
We
MakerBot
renew
song.
it every year. Yeah, the MakerBot song is one of them. A lot of our hit tracks are those. It's much less expensive than, say, hiring Waffle Stomp to make a custom song for us, like we did with the Tested theme.
right.
And so we use those songs. A lot of other people use those songs too. Like, for example, Top Chef uses one of our songs all the time in their episodes. I hear it makes
So
me
if this
smile
is a
every time.
legitimate royalty-free thing, why would anybody complain?
Because they're assholes and they're dumbasses. So what happens is like local TV stations claim news or YouTube videos in the news that we have license to use. One of the ones that keeps popping up is the Paper Airplane Guys video, where we have a clip that we asked permission to use from him of the world record paper airplane toss. He
Right.
owns the rights to that.
Right.
He can give us rights to use that as much as we want. But local TV stations will put their news shows on YouTube's, and then because they say they own all the content on that channel, our videos then get claimed as copyright infringers. Which
hell?
yeah, it's a complete asinine thing. I spend probably an hour and a half or 2 hours a week going through and managing the copyright claim stuff.
Madness.
Music is also bad. Like there's no fair use in YouTube's terms. So if we use the tiniest clip of, it's why we don't put movie clips in Adam's prop videos. When we show when we do the Bourne bag, I would have loved to put a clip from the movie of the Bourne Identity of that scene in that
Right.
video.
And of course you
but
can't
we
do it.
absolutely can't do it because the people who own the rights to that would cause us all sorts of problems. It's bad enough.
I mean, we saw that Ustream story recently, right, where they were the Sci-Fi
Yeah,
Awards
they
showed
took
clips of the
down-
nominees, and the copyright bots pulled it.
right while it was live.
Yeah.
Yeah. So That's the big problem. The other problem is uploads. You have to use like the best way to do it is using the web interface, so it's a little bit harder to automate. They have some API stuff that we could use, but yeah, I mean, overall, it's been really good. We have massively larger audience. Like, for example, the Born Bag video ended up on the homepage of YouTube, which never would have happened if we hadn't been hosting it on YouTube.
Yeah,
obviously.
I mean, YouTube is the service.
And 1 million people saw it in like 3 days.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so in that regard, it's much better. It's overall, it's been worth the hassle. We have a lot more people. Like, more people are probably watching our videos on YouTube now than they are on
and
tested.com.
that's what matters.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying for. So that'll do it for questions. Yeah, I'm not going to get into this one. If you have questions, please send them in. It's tested, podcast@tested.com. We haven't gotten any questions in a couple weeks because we recorded on Wednesday. So record some audio questions, send them in. We'll pretty good chance we'll play them. This week's outro. Oh, hold on. We should talk about what we're plugging. Walking Dead episode 4 soon. I see you're doing promotion stuff for it.
Very soon.
Very soon.
Very soon. We're doing
fast.
It's out on iOS. Episode 3 is out on iOS now too.
Episode
right?
3 is not yet out on iOS. It will be very soon. But yeah, we're I'm doing press all this week. Done a bunch of interviews about episode 4, and doing more. Going to PlayStation tomorrow, Sony podcast, and doing some things over the weekend. And after that, I think you might well be actually playing it.
Interesting. Very cryptic for unusually.
I have to word it very carefully, but yes, I'm very optimistic that you won't be waiting much longer.
Media plans.
Yeah. And next weekend, New York Comic Con on Saturday. I think it's either at 11 or 12. I'm moderating a panel for Aliens, Colonial Marines.
How did you? Well, I know how you, but as if I did not know, why are you moderating a panel for Aliens, Colonial Marines?
I don't know, because they asked me.
Okay.
And, you know, I like going to New York Comic Con is cool, and Aliens, Colonial Marines looks cool. And I just found out, although I can't tell you anything more about it, there's a very special thing happening at that panel.
There's it's a really good, like, there's people that represent all of Alien. Like the whole Alien universe on that panel, right?
It's.
Can you talk? I mean,
well, because I mean, I think the game sequel they're doing is considered like canon.
Yes,
like it's a legitimate sequel to Aliens the movie. They go back to the Sulaco, and you know, you see scenes from the original movie, like what happened next. So that's cool, and yeah, I think they've done a very good job of tying it into the film universe, and you know, you'll definitely see that reflected in the panel.
So, what are you talking about the game mostly on the panel, or is it going to be just opportunity to talk about Aliens?
I think we're mostly talking about. I think it's mostly intended to promote the upcoming game.
Okay,
but you know, there'll be a wider discussion of how it fits into the Alien universe, and I'll be very glad to have an opportunity to, you know, walk around New York Comic Con a little bit, maybe see some friends there, and
go to Katz's Deli,
pick up some swag, and eat a large chopped liver sandwich.
Fantastic,
wonderful.
And of course, Octobercast, in case you missed it at the beginning of this audio podcast that you can rewind and listen to from the beginning, October 26th.
Very big.
You have 2 pieces of assignment, 2 pieces of homework.
22 days from today.
Mark on your calendars, October 26th.
Yes.
6 p.m. PST to October 27th, 6 p.m. PST as Octobercast. And also send us a tweet for your suggestions for our Wait tweet off for the rest of this month.
Wait quest.
Some type of hashtag.
Wait.
I mean, like, maybe you should set a target for yourself by Octobercast, and then have a weigh-in on the day and see how you see. I don't
support unhealthy medical practices.
I'm not asking you to starve yourself. I'm just saying
I'm going to lose 65 pounds.
Set a sensible goal and try to achieve
by
it.
October 26th.
I will gain. No.
Yeah,
I will gain as much as Will loses.
You should gain 1/2 pound for every pound that I lose.
Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous.
Wow, I could make you really fat. And that'll do it for us this week. Thank you guys for listening as always. We'll be back next Thursday with another episode of This Is Only a Test. Have we done enough fake outtakes? Do we have more outtakes to fake?
No, we talked about food in New York, and that was more.
I think
we kind of all got folded
in. We just did it in the wrong place. It's Norm's fault. He couldn't wait to talk about food.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
We'll be back next Thursday with another episode of the show. Until then, today's outro comes from... I closed the tab, so I don't know. Sorry, dude.
Send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. Do not send me, and this is the only person who get away with it, a stamp and an address.
Oh, no! He expects you to do all the work.
No.
I'm already tearing envelopes open and licking envelopes. That's all I'm committing to.
Norm is a busy man.
And Norm, just a reminder, you can pay me for the B-Wing anytime you like.
Anytime. Are you going to take that? Is the juice running?
Anytime.
Like, how long does he have to pay you before you start charging interest?
He'll find out when he gives you.
Because I mean, 30 days you have your credit card.
This is like one of those payday loan corporations where it says at the bottom, the interest rate is 99.98%.
Yeah.
Well, now it's $400
already.
We'll see you guys next week. Hi there, I didn't see you.
Test it.
It's 4 inches. Oh my god. They look swollen and puffy. It's all the way in.
Test it.
That was a good one.
What the hell was that?